Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MotoOption Supercross. From Oswego, New York, riding for Underground RC, number 39, Caleb Hall. From Marmora, New Jersey, riding for Heckman Productions SYS Racing, number 4, Jeremy Smith. From Tampa, Florida, riding for JIBR.co, 2021 MX Simulator National Champion, number 5, Tyler Lang. From Lillington, North Carolina, riding for TSCZ Production. Number 11, Luke Sullivan. From Watkins Glen, New York, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard. Number 12, Braden Castellaneta. From Mattawan, Michigan, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard. Number 78, Jacob Hubbard. From Shawnigan Lake, Canada, riding for District Designs. Number 24, Colby Eagland. From France, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard, 2018 Supercross champion, number 7, Alexis Leclerc.
Rewind it.
Check the tape.
Win the Anaheim opener in 2000. Braden Carter's going to win tonight in Anaheim. Through to win the Seattle Supercross.
2022 Supercross champion.
From Costa Mesa, California, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, your two-time and defending Supercross champion, number 1, Braden Carter.
No way. No way.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It's the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship live on Start Your Systems, Init Esports on Twitch and ESTV. My name is Kellen Brower, and I'm joined in the booth again by Andrew Wood as we get ready to bring you guys round 12 of action tonight in Glendale. It is a triple crown. It's time to kickstart the final 6 rounds of this championship, Andrew, and no better way to start it with Glendale. Always a great racetrack and triple crown action coming up tonight.
Yeah, Triple Crown racing is some of the best that we get to see all year. So really excited for that. Glendale always brings a great track, big floor space. So I'm super excited for the racing tonight.
Well, before we get racing tonight, we have a little bit of news to share, which is why, as you guys have probably noticed, we started a little bit early tonight. If you guys remember back to last round, back in Seattle, round 11 of the championship, there's a couple odd moments, particularly in the last chance qualifier, that created a little bit of havoc. 2 guys extra got into the 450 main event. We had 24 riders start the 450 main event, and then it was just a slurry of opinions afterwards about what was going on there. Well, we now know that some penalties have been handed down, and they are big. Key penalties from round 11 coming in as follows earlier today. Jeremy Seabolt has been indefinitely suspended for making multiple attempts to take out other racers during the LCQ. The same thing happened to Jaden Wilson, indefinitely suspended, waiting on track and taking out Adam Holm on the last lap of the LCQ. Ethan Gerst has been suspended for the remainder of Supercross for making multiple attempts to take out other racers. And of course, the big one, Payson Johnson, suspended for the remainder of Supercross for racing recklessly and making multiple takeout attempts as well. Obviously, this is a huge blow for the championship picture for Payson, who was already kind of out of it anyway. But now we have lost another competitor at the top of this 450 championship here, Andrew.
Yeah, it's a big hit to the championship, the 450 championship as well. But with the way that the racing kind of ended up, it's kind of one that I guess is almost welcome. Hopefully we see some cleaner racing up front. And for everyone to just go out there that puts, their heart on the line every weekend or every week trying to race. So hopefully it just brings some cleaner, better racing for us.
So we're going to go through this real quick and just kind of break it down. We don't really want to do this necessarily, but we kind of have to. So this is back at last week's racing in Seattle, or 2 weeks ago. This is Adam Holm 2 laps to go in the LCQ, but he's chasing down Noah McLaughlin, who gets landed on by Jeremy Seabolt. So Seabolt causing some havoc. And then you're going to see a bike on the left side of the screen. That's Jaden Wilson teeing up Adam Holm, while Seabolt's still in the mix while Payson Johnson's trying to make it out of this LCQ. And of course, it caused a little bit of controversy because, like, what exactly is going on here? Payson coming from way back in this LCQ. He does make it out of this LCQ, and we'll see what he had to say about this afterwards in just a moment. But McLaughlin and Holm, who were in transfer spots, were both taken out by two different riders, and then they allowed McLaughlin and Holm in. So here's Seabolt. We see Seabolt jumping across the corner right here, taking riders out. We're going to see a little bit later on here in just a second as he's going to go over the finish line jump. He's going to quad over this finish line jump, and this is him landing on McLaughlin in this LCQ. And then he committed another infraction a little bit later when he was bouncing across the track. He's going to take out Sonny Spicer right there, then tee up sideways across the track and go for the man who was in second place at the time, just misses him. So this is why Seabolt's indefinitely suspended. I mean, it's pretty obvious at that point he was not racing in any capacity in this LCQ, and again, takes out Sonny Spicer right there. So just getting in the way all across the board. And then this is, again, a little bit later on when he's just trying to mess around with people. He doesn't actually take anybody out here, but he cuts the track and ends up going backwards down the start straight into the first corner to get into the mix to battle with these guys while they're racing for the final transfer spots in the LCQ. So when you heard us all calling this out on the broadcast as Seabolt being, I mean, ridiculous, this is why. Like, he was trying to get involved in the battle. You see Jaden Wilson right there eventually takes out Adam Holmes. So that's why Wilson was suspended indefinitely. But here's what Wilson was doing. He was waiting up clearly for Adam Holm. This is Wilson. Holm back there on what is the Honda on this screen based on all the evidence that was compiled by Race Director Gaming going through all of this. And so you can see Jaden Wilson just waits for Adam Holm, tees him off the track. This is to, potentially allow more riders through. And then here's Gerst in the main event. He's actually trying to take out Payson Johnson. So they're screwing with each other while a main event is going on. He tries to get into him. Then he's going to rejoin the track and then come across the track right here and jump into Adam Holm and take him out. Just a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with racing. All these guys making problems. Here's more of what Gerst is doing, getting involved with riders going through. He's trying to block Adam Holm, who's behind him. They're getting lapped right here as well, and they should be getting out of the way. It doesn't matter who it is. If you're getting lapped, you got to get out of the way. We can see he's going to stop right here, come across, take Adam Holm down. And then the big one, of course, was Payson Johnson getting the suspension for the remainder of Supercross. This is him and Adam Holm messing with each other, going back and forth. Then he's going to quad the finish line jump, trying to take out Adam Holm. He's going to come back across the track, wait for Holm to go through in front of him, then cut across him and try to take him out here. And then really the straw that broke the camel's back for Johnson was running into Colby Eagland while Eagland's battling inside of the top 10, maybe even in the top 5 at that moment of the race. So really, it was just a catastrophic mix of errors from all these guys. Eventually, Payson Johnson does come out with a statement and says, to be honest, he didn't plan on racing because of them adding those two riders from the LCQ. He thought that was unfair, but he also did say that they were messing with him in the main event, so that's why he retaliated. So then he felt that Jeremy Cohenauer, the president of Race Director Gaming, nitpicked his race and thought that the penalty that he got was deserved. And he also wants to make it clear that he never told anyone to help him get through that LCQ, even though it was all a bunch of District Designs riders that were helping. He felt that, he wanted to get it out there that he had no part in that. It wasn't helping out in the LCQ at all. And then there was a statement as well from Jeremy Cohenauer that we got where he said Seabolt, Gerst, and Wilson were all suspended for intentionally trying to take out leaders attempting to alter the race results. Johnson was suspended due to him racing recklessly by quadding the finish and making multiple intentional takeout attempts. Ultimately, these racers were looking to cause carnage instead of trying to do well in the race, and we feel we have to take appropriate action to prevent them from continuing to do so. So, this is a lot of stuff. This is why we wanted to go through it. We'll jump back in studio here with myself and Andrew Wood. Sorry, apologies for that. This is where we needed to go. We'll jump back in studio here. And, basically what this boils down to, Andrew, is yes, this is a video game. Yes, it shouldn't be taken that seriously or whatever, but there's sponsors backing this. There's an official sanctioning body that's backing this. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of work that we put in, that Race Factory puts in to try to make this a legit series. And when you have people trying to make a mockery of it, it really just takes away from the experience for the other competitors that are out there trying their hardest to race, have a good time, and also race fairly. And it felt like none of that was really fair a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's just really a bummer when people don't take it seriously. If you don't want to show up and and take it seriously like everyone else is, then just don't show up at all. And there's hundreds and hundreds of hours put on with us just to bring you these streams, but behind the scenes at Race Factory, and it just kind of is made a mockery of, as well as thousands and thousands of hours that these people are trying to play this game and have great results in this championship. It should be fun, but it also should be taken seriously. So it's just a real bummer that they kind of go and decide to do that. and it had to end up this way, but hopefully now the racing will be better, and we got rid of the bad apples that didn't want to, partake the way that they should.
Yeah, so like we said, those guys are out for at least the remainder of Supercross. Gerst and Johnson will be allowed to come back for Nationals, but Seabolt and Wilson we will probably not see at any point in time in Nationals. Usually indefinite suspensions last for the entirety of a season or a year, so probably not going to see those guys for a while. But enough about that. Let's move on. Let's stop talking about this. Let's talk about what's going on here tonight, because we still have a banger of a race to host. We still have a championship at play, and all those guys won't be in part of it, of course, but coming into tonight here in Glendale, Braden Carter has gone fastest at 59.5. Alexis Leclerc also still alive in this championship hunt. He's right there about a half second down, but Logan Leitzel sneaking in, getting in the mix a little bit. What I like about this, though, is long lap times Glendale always provides them, and it's kind of interesting to see. We still have pretty close lap times, even from Leclerc back to, laying down there in 7th, 1/10 in it. Everybody in the mix here all running some solid lap times.
Yeah, it's really good in this 450 class, especially when we have such close racing up at the front. Anyone can kind of win. Braden Carter out front, trying to keep extending his lead that he has now is a pretty large lead against Leclerc, who's really his only championship rival. So he's going to have to see. But if Braden Carter does have a bad race, all those close guys right there can kind of play spoiler, get in between. But Braden Carter hasn't been seen to be missing too much this year. He seems to always put it in the podium. So would be looking for a battle between him and Leclerc up front tonight.
As we move on, we, of course, have to talk about 250 West continuing their action here tonight. Max Chwalik goes fastest at a 1:06. Seth Shirley, Cade Matherly, Jed Holyhead, and Sam Weigman also on the mix. And again, kind of close lap times. You have to go all the way back to 8th to see a second difference in our top group here. But again, everybody within that 1:01 range. Maybe we see some good racing with how close these times are.
Yeah, this 250 class has been really interesting all year too, going back and forth. But Seth Shirley being up front, he can always put in the laps and he can back it up when he gets to the main event. But really good to see a lot of those names, Chwalik, Matherly, and Holyhead, people that have been trying to kind of explode onto the scene here this year a little bit more. So once again, 250 class is going to be great, and I love it when we have these really long lap times.
All right, let's talk about our championship standings as we roll into tonight's action. Braden Carter, of course, up 24 points. Colby Eaglin and Johnson now out of this title fight, down in 4th. He'll be out of this season, but Eaglin has lost quite a bit of ground to Carter over the last couple weeks, and Leclerc has just been slowly inching backwards. It feels like this is Carter's to run away with a little bit now, but Triple Crowns are always a little bit weird. Is this the opportunity for Leclerc to maybe strike back and keep this thing a little bit closer?
I think he can strike back, and I think he has to pretty much from here on out. You got to watch. Everyone else seems too far out there, but the thing about Triple Crowns we always say is you can have a bad race or two, but get yourself, a 10-10-1, and you're really not going to be that far back because everyone else is having bad races as well. So you give yourself the opportunity to have one bad race tonight and still be able to put it back up on the box. So Braden Carter, I actually think, feels a little bit safer in a Triple Crown compared to a regular night show.
All right, let's look at our 250 West standings real quick before we jump in the server. Just about ready to go racing. Seth Shirley, 18 points up on Jed Holyhead. You got Rogan McIntosh still within that one race distance as well. Again, it feels like Shirley's maybe starting to run away with this. A little bit of a shorter championship with these 250 guys, but we always know that these 250 races can be a little bit wild as well. So if you have a Triple Crown mix in here, we know Holyhead is really good on these kind of surfaces as well. Again, another opportunity for someone to strike back like Holyhead or McIntosh tonight.
Yeah, I would like to see those guys finishing up there and battling, even if they can't take the top spot from Shirley, just for them to be up there and kind of build coming into outdoors or even next season is also always great to see people kind of hit a stride and get some consistency. So for them to be this close to Seth Shirley this far into their championship is just great already. So would be fun to see them kind of get up in the mix though and try to steal some wins away from Shirley as we kind of get towards the back half of their season.
All right, so that is the storylines rolling into tonight. Obviously, a lot to go through with all the penalties and everything like that, but we want to put that behind us and go racing here tonight and really just stop talking about it in the chat because at the end of the day, Race Factory runs this championship and you guys don't. So if they feel that what was happening on track was determined to be against racing actions, then they will take action accordingly. That's just the way it's always been in this series. And I know that some people are pretty upset about it because their favorite racer... Can't even say words. Favorite racer is not here tonight, but you know what? I feel that some of that stuff was justified based on what we saw. So just gonna move on. We're gonna go racing.
Yeah, excited to see our kind of first look at this track as we see these guys going around for their sight lap. A lot of long rhythms here, which is what kind of Glendale normally allows us to see, which is nice with the long lap times as well. But a lot of kind of interesting rhythms from these guys that we might see more room for mistakes. Fun little tunnel jump there after the finish line. A lot going on here. We do have a split section as well. Pretty long whoop section, and I'm super excited to get this racing on the way here tonight.
Of course, we're starting off with the 250 last chance qualifier to get things rolling here tonight. So only 4 riders go through to the main event out of this one. And this is going to be a lot of fun to figure out who those 4 riders are. So let's get ready to drop the gate here in Glendale. 250 LCQ time. Couple guys hitting the gate as we get this long run down to the first corner. Looks like the 551 up the inside is going to control it as Carl Novak swings wide, but it will be Nick Niles grabbing that hole shot. And remember, only 4 riders go through. Short race distance here, only 5 minutes plus a lap, so you got to make those passes in a hurry. Niles up front from Stevenson, Anderson, and Briscoe as our front 4 to try to open up a little bit of a gap. I think that's Kyler Smith back there, Carl Novak. We got Triley's, Quadsies on the first lap. Couple guys going down as we hit those dreaded whoops. We got some guys hopping already. This is getting Riley.
Yeah, a little bit of huckabuck in that first whoop section as we see 2 riders going down, exiting. We see them come around this flat corner there with a little option before the finish line for the first time. And then these guys are going to go into a little triple, single kind of turning section here with the wall. Maybe not too many passing opportunities there over the tunnel jump, but we'll have to see what happens here. Look at this right here. First time through this rhythm section as we're coming up. These 2 riders leading us. Niles going to lead us into the split section in front of Stevenson. So let's see what he opts to do. A little right side triple quad out there. Going to be interesting to see what kind of happens there and what these guys favor in the different classes as well.
Yeah, it's a really interesting split section because you have tables on either side basically to start it with some singles mixed in. And really both lines amount to the same thing. You either, go triple in, table over single, so it'd be a quad basically to triple out, or triple in, triple, and then quad out basically with a table single option. So more or less the same thing on either side, but it really is what preference these guys have or what line they hit going into it, I guess, as well. As Niles might get passed up the inside, Stevenson down the inside under the tunnel, going to take over the race lead here in this last chance qualifier. Niles from Stevenson and Briscoe now have opened up a little bit of a gap back to Carl Novak, who still runs in this 3rd position. Brett Thomas, Jack Fowler, Nate Tunnell, Nathan McLaughlin, Ryan Anderson, Luke Fowler, Tyler Smith. Everybody's still pretty close, so you cannot afford a fall-off crash right here if you're Novak in this final transfer spot.
Yeah, these it looks like we might have a little bit of problem with the game being zoomed in. They can't see the top bar or the bottom name. Not sure if that's on purpose, but these guys right here, see if you can adjust that maybe. But Carl Novak holding on to this final transfer spot. He likes to go to that left side, maybe loses a little bit of time there, gets a run up just on the inside. But yeah, still a lot of riders close to him. So right here, he's riding around in 4th place, but so many guys close. And early on, as he almost makes a mistake there, even in this 250 class where they are a little bit more spread out than the 450s normally, you still got to be on your game through the opening laps of these heat races.
I will zoom this back out after this LCQ, guys. Sorry about that. Not sure why it's doing that. But if I do it right now, it will go out of the server. So we got to fix that afterwards as Novak goes down. He was going down all the way through the whoop section and hits the deck. Brett Thomas goes into that final transfer spot. And finally, a little bit of breathing room for our final transfer spot as well. Thomas has a few seconds in hand. But a few seconds up to the next group of riders. Briscoe's still chasing down Niles as Stevenson continues to lead this race. And now Niles has gone down on the triple option after that Supercross triple. Looks like he will still remount, battling it out now for 3rd, with to the outside comes Brett Thomas. And option lines being used by these guys. That's going to allow the group behind them to close back up as neither rider gets through this section super clean. And they continue to battle going down on the start straight, teammates on this Vermoto Yamaha program.
I kind of forgot it was an LCQ here. We only had 4 transfer spots. That's my bad. We haven't had a triple crown in a while. But look at this close racing going on up here. These guys just making little mistakes back and forth here. I've seen a couple guys kind of case some rhythm sections. Little mistakes there, not able to get on and off cleanly. Niles there, but he's still able to hold on and keep it close here. But it's going to be interesting to see if these guys can keep making it clean through the whoop section.
Oh,
And just as I say
Thomas
that, Brett
down.
Thomas goes
Oh,
way
and his
down.
teammate hits him.
No way.
So Niles is down after the whoops as well. That's going to give 2 different transfer spots up as Nate Tunnel goes to 3rd, and then he
Oh.
blows the corner. So McLaughlin now goes to 3rd. Tunnel's going to get picked back up as the teammates get into each other. Tyler Smith has moved into the final transfer spot, but he's got Nick Niles still right behind him, and Niles actually shoving Brett Thomas out of the way. So no love lost between the teammates who just got into each other, as it's still a freight train of riders mixed in here. Niles trying to go after Smith for this final transfer spot, and this could get dicey as they close up on McLaughlin ahead. This is giving a huge advantage to the riders in front as Niles goes down, and that's going to change up the order once again as they continue shuffling these positions. We'll reset it real quick. It is still Stevenson leading on this Supercross triple going into the whoops. Got a big advantage now. Timmy Briscoe right behind him, about 5 seconds down. Then a huge gap back to Nathan McLaughlin, and Tyler Smith still in this final transfer spot, but a mistake through this rhythm section going to allow Brett Thomas to close that gap down, and we might have something brewing here with about a lap to go.
Yeah, Thomas getting a little bit closer here. He might have time as we see maybe a rider down after the whoop section there on that straightaway. So these guys still have a lot of time to make mistakes here. They definitely have to stay on their game as they keep it trying to stay smooth. And just like that, Brett Thomas almost goes down as well. He needs to keep it going if he wants to keep moving forward, not make those small little mistakes. Thomas still pushing here, but none of the guys faltering in front of him just yet. We do have one more lap, no white flag yet. So it looks like they're still going to have 2 laps to go.
Yeah,
correct?
will be 2 laps to go. I was trying to check on that because the 5-minute mark was
my
coming up,
God.
and Tyler Smith cases that triple option and goes down as he pirouettes to the ground. So Smith is going to lose all that advantage that he got as he's going to slide back and fall back to the 5th position. Novak still right there, Nate Tunnel, but that has allowed obviously Thomas a huge advantage up here in the 4th spot to move forward. He has now got a bit of a gap. He's going to try to close up to McLaughlin, who is still in this 3rd position. Briscoe in 2nd, as Stevenson now up front should have taken the white flag but didn't. So maybe they have set this wrong. It looks like they have set this to 6 minutes plus a lap, or did they just set it wrong entirely?
Oh no, it's pretty. You're gonna have to scroll up a long way to see that. Probably 6
minutes plus a
1
lap. Yeah, so they did set it wrong. It should be 5 plus 1 for an LCQ, but Stevenson's got to do 1 extra lap then because he checked in just before that 6-minute mark. This is gonna be the longest LCQ of the season for sure. Just settling it down though, trying to hold on. We'll see if that 1 extra lap matters though, especially for someone like Brett Thomas here still on the bubble.
Yeah, it's really nerve-wracking here. I would be a little upset that the race is going a little bit longer because it's so nerve-wracking as we see him almost go through the front door there, getting a little bit mistimed on his seat bounce here. He's going to slow it down, go double. Oh man, he's just off his rhythm. He's got to get this back. He's going to case this triple out here. Take a deep breath as you go down this long start straight. You got about 2/3 of the track to go. Take a deep breath, settle down. You're in transfer spot. All you have to do is not throw it away. And honestly, it's super difficult to do. He does have a big gap behind him, but I don't think a big enough gap if he has a complete fall off. So about 2.5 more sections for him to go, and he will be on his way to the main events here tonight. So good ride by Brett Thomas, able to kind of fight through some adversity and stay in a transfer position. Just got to get through the whoops.
I was going to say, I feel like the whoops are going to be his kryptonite, and he's swapping all the way through them. He stays on 2 wheels crucially right there. That could have easily been a fall-off crash. And now Tyler Smith is doubling through the whoops, so we're to the point where these guys are just trying to survive on these final couple laps. But Thomas has got to make it 1 more time through the whoops to be good. We'll see if he can hold on here on this final lap as he crests over the tunnel jump there. McLaughlin still 3rd, Briscoe in the 2 spot, and Stevenson out front has been controlling this thing since he took the lead on the 2nd lap of the race. The Yoga Designs ride looking smooth as butter out here, looking like he's putting it all together. And for him, seems like the racecraft is there, maybe just not the speed in qualifying, as he's going to roll this thing right into the main event, gets through cleanly through the whoops there. Final corner, Hayden Stevenson goes to the main event out of the LCQ. He wins 250 last chance qualifier in Glendale. Briscoe will be 2nd, McLaughlin 3rd, and we have a change. Brett Thomas went down in one of those rhythm sections. Tyler Smith has gone through, so now the onus is on Smith to survive as he's really struggling here at the end of this rhythm section. Thomas made a mistake as well, so he is also having some issues. Smith going a little long on the triple. Now it comes down to the whoops. Does he just double him? Oh, he's going to try to blitz him. Looks pretty sharp.
Yeah,
wow.
Good. Whew.
Best run we've seen out of Smith in the whoops so far here tonight. And it converts him to a main event position as he goes through in 4th. And Brett Thomas, first rider out. going to go back to the semi along with Ryan Anderson, Nick Niles, Nate Tunnel, Carl Novak, Kyler Smith, Zoa Cross, Jack Fowler, Luke Fowler, Brandon Wolf, Tucker Zimmerman, and the rest, as that was a little bit wild towards the end. And for Tyler Smith, he's going to be stoked to just squeak on through as Stevenson takes the win, 250 LCQ.
Yeah, the extra lap definitely helped him out right there when you see that mistake by Brett. But sorry, with the timing messed me up too. I thought it was the last lap. It could be the last lap like 4 different times. So I kept getting thrown off there. We'll be a little bit better for this 450 LCQ here. Man, these 450 LCQs though, 251s are wild because I feel like the guys on the bubble are a little bit more inconsistent. We saw a great ride by Stevenson there to get in the main, but 450 LCQs are going to be wild here. And there's definitely a lot of fast guys that, it's really hard to get in that top 22. So especially that top 18 in qualifying. So you're going to have some big names in these 450 LCQs and people that definitely don't want to miss out that may not be the best qualifier. So probably the best race of the night, unless we have a A2 Triple Crown type ride. I remember that first Triple Crown race between Carter and his teammate was pretty awesome. So this might be the best race of the night here, guys. Buckle up.
All right, 450 last chance qualifier coming up. And just like we saw with those 250 guys, they too only have 4 riders that will make it through, and everybody else will be headed back to the pits and not racing here tonight. Triple Crown action from Glendale, round 12 of 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Racing in MX Simulator. Wow, we've already seen what this track has been able to provide a little bit for us so far. What do you think of it as a racetrack? A-Wood, it seems to be setting up quite well with a lot of bull corners and a tricky whoop section as well that's catching a few guys out.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really any 90-degree corners because they're all just kind of slanted ones, the 2 before the finish line, and then kind of utilizing the track. So I do like all the bull corners as well as long rhythm lanes. A lot of spots for guys to kind of make mistakes and kind of set up passes as you can see yourself gaining. If someone ahead of you makes a mistake, you can see yourself gaining and know where you can make a pass going into those bull turns. Whoop section looks like it's going to be difficult here tonight. And then that split lane, I'm curious to see how that kind of shapes up. Maybe with some of these 450 guys that they do a different rhythm, and just kind of what the vibe ends up being between these guys. I do like the way it is. I like the long triple that they have to stretch after the Supercross triple on the far side of the track. So I think it's going to lend us some really good racing here tonight.
All right, well, we'll see what it does in this 450 LCQ. I'm a little hopeful we see some T-bones in that last corner before the finish line jump after the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a little bit of interesting dynamic there. Drive through the whoops down the inside to that final corner could be fun for a final transfer spot battle. But again, we'll see who's lined up in this last chance qualifier and whether or not some big players are in this one or not. Of course, with the Triple Crown Racing, the peculiar thing is you always end up having a few guys in the LCQ that are great racers, but not necessarily great qualifiers, because these guys only get an hour to qualify on this racetrack. You got to learn it quick. You got to race, or you got to ride it quick as well to get a good lap time in. And sometimes you have guys that would qualify 25th that easily make a main event. But here tonight, qualifying 25th puts you right in the last chance qualifiers. So we'll see who those guys are out there. Talon Zoller, Seth Carr, Alex Heckman, Anthony Pachone, Logan Heagney, Jeremy Schiabro, Evan Holt, James Ohashi, Ethan Olson, John Heilman, Noah McLaughlin, Ethan Parks, Austin Bear, Brandon Larson, Devin Davis, Trent Adams, Adam Holm, Enzo Butigny, and Carson West. So quite a contingent of riders. We've got a 252 smoke out here. Carson West of the iSpec team giving it a run. So yeah, it's time to go 450 last chance qualifier racing. And we got a pretty full gate in this one as well. So this should be a lot of fun to figure out who makes it through out of this one as we are lined up and ready to go. 450 last chance qualifier. 4 make it through. Everybody else goes home. Let's drop the gate again in Glendale. Ooh, long hold of the gate. A couple guys jumped. And we'll see the 95, or the 85, excuse me, of Holtzy down the inside. Looks like he's going to control into the first corner. And it will be Evan Holt, TSCZ Productions ride, getting the whole shot. Has to make a little bobble on the step off. Almost gets landed on. Does get landed on.
Going down.
Somehow saves it. Zoller is flipping into the second corner. Allows B-Lars, Brandon Larson on the 73 into the race lead. Pachone up in a second. Zollers remains in third after that crash. And Heilman moves up into the 4th position as everybody already kind of spread out based on those first couple crashes as Pachone saves it in the whoops.
Gosh.
Oh, and then a crossover in the background. That's going to take Noah McLaughlin down as it was a cross up there. The end of the whoops by Zollers, who got kicked sideways. He's going to drift back to 4th, and our front 4 already have a little bit of a gap established because of that chaos.
Yeah, seeing a couple of these 450 riders still have trouble with that whoop section, but Zollers now, he's got still a huge pack behind him after that big group of 4 or 5 riders going down in the first rhythm section. Brandon Larson able to get an early triple and make it past. Oh, and there's a punt. Pachon just got slammed into the Davalos bales there. He's going to lose a couple spots. Looks like he remounts probably around 6th or 7th place there, but that allows Butigny and Adam Holm to get back up a little bit closer to the final transfer spot. Man, after the last couple weeks that these guys have had, Adam Holm probably wants nothing more than just have a nice clean race, knock off a couple passes here. He's going to get the big rhythm here, see if he can make it past Butigny. No, he jumps off the side, not able to make the pass complete. So Butigny still holding on to the 4th and final transfer spot here in this LCQ early on.
Yeah, Larson up front has really started to open up the gap as Heilman and Zollers go through the whoops right there in 2nd and 3rd. Butigny now in 4th, hopping a little bit at the end as Holm tries to close back up. Pachon's still in the mix as well, and a few other riders at the end of the whoops trying to get back up in the mix as we complete lap number 2 on to the 3rd lap here. Minute and 50 seconds have come and gone of this 5-minute plus 1 lap race. Didn't actually see this time if they changed the track to the correct one this time through, but we'll see if it matters at all as Butigny tries to hold on to this 4th spot, chasing down Zollers, who looks to be a little bit more the aggressor against Heilman ahead of him. And there you see the split option left side lane for these guys. So they go basically triple, quad, triple is what it amounts to through that section instead of quadding out. And I think that will probably end up being the fast line, especially because you can really scrub that triple out, stay low, and keep your momentum rolling forward.
Yeah, I do like...
Ooh, is that Larson? That is Larson.
Lead.
And he will remount still in a transfer spot just in front of Holm and Pachon. So now it's tightened up the front 6 a little bit more as it looks like Heilman on the 43 goes to the lead from Zollers. Zollers trying to make a move down the inside with Butigny now in 3rd. Larson hopping through the whoops a little bit as Holm gets kicked sideways at the end. Pachon trying to show him a nose to the inside. Look at Holm down the inside right there over the finish line jump. Back and forth we go for 5th place. They still are trying to get around B-Lars. Can't quite make a move just yet.
Yeah, Brandon Larson needs to settle back into the pace that he had, but he definitely has some company behind him. They're both kind of doing a good job of trying to move forward, but also not get into it too much with them. But it's so hard when the top 6 like this is so close. Looks like we actually lost Pachon there, so he's going to drop off the back.
And then he got hit by Ethan Parks right there. So Pachon and Parks both down now. A huge gap back to 6th as Holm still runs in P5, trying to close that gap down on Larson. Oh, and is it? No, it's not a battle for the lead. Zoller's dealing with Carson West, who is getting put a lap down right now. And got to be careful not to mess with the leaders as a lap down rider in the last chance qualifier. Don't want to open up old wounds already, but Heilman continues to lead. Zoller 2nd, Butigny 3rd, and Larson back on the rear tire of Butigny already trying to make a pass happen as they go through the whoops.
Yeah, all these guys seemingly to struggle through those whoops. It is a long whoop section, and they do have to kind of slow down so that they can kind of cut under and get that turn onto the start straight there. So it's a little bit difficult when you are braking in the whoops as well. I feel like that's a lot of the reason why we see them struggling towards the end. Brandon Larson, though, super close here to Butigny. He's got to try to make a pass. We see a little bit of dualies there. He's tossing it big. Actually going to miss this rhythm section.
That's Zollers.
Is that Zollers? Zollers goes down out of 2nd place. So that's going to move Adam Holm up into the 4th and final transfer position here. And he's still trying to work his way forward. You see that triple working out there. And they might get a pass on Butigny here.
Well, Carson West is getting way too involved here as he just blocked Butigny coming on the start straight. Larson goes by up into 2nd. You got Butigny going over top on that. It's a really interesting line that these guys elect not to get that pop triple out as Holm down the inside puts a nice block pass on Butigny in the end. You see some guys going over table triple single versus on off triple. Kind of weird as Butigny gives a favor back and puts Holm down on the ground.
Wow, you could see Adam Holm slowed up and he tried to hit the brakes and cut down when he thought that Butigny was going to go up the inside of him and kind of shoot towards the exit, and it kind of went the exact opposite. He was like, okay, if you're going to stop there, I'm just going to go up and kind of put you on the ground there so you don't have a chance to cut under at all. So that's actually pretty good defensive riding there. Bummer that Adam Holm did fall all the way off the bike there. But I do think it was a smart move by Butigny to kind of not let that pass back happen there. So we're moving back to Trent Adams here as he's giving chase and Brandon Larson into
West and that's Zollers jumping in. How did he not take either of them with him? But that was a pass for 3rd in the end as Adams still sits in 4th right behind B-Lars, and then Holmes suddenly is right back in the mix in P5 as these guys continue to dice it out. This is 3, 4, 5 on your screen. Only 2 of these riders will go to the main event as it currently stands, and Adam's also doing that over triple line right there. So again, different change up through the lines right there. I wonder if that's just ease of access to not have to do that off, which is a little bit dicey. Another rider down, that's McLaughlin, but that is not for a transfer spot at the moment. B-Lars, Butigny, oh, and Trent Adams got kicked sideways, exiting the whoops. White flag is waving for our race leader Heilman. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 on our screen going over the finish line jump with 6, 7, 8 still right behind all of them. What is going to happen right here?
Man, these guys are in such a close battle here. It's got to be nerve-wracking. Adams on the outside looking in, but I kind of like his position more. Besides maybe being Brandon Larson all the way at the front, I would not want to be one of the 2 middle guys, as we see a case right there. So that's going to allow Adams to go past, and Adam Holm as well. So now Butigny, he's struggling trying to get that triple out to the inside. Does he make a move? He's not able to. So after putting Adam Holm on the ground earlier, Adam Holm has now got caught up and been able to make a pass back, and now he holds the final chancer spot here. And let's see what happens. See, I do like the different options, though. Everyone kind of doing what's comfortable.
Oh,
no! Huge mistake.
That's Adams, who is in third, and he makes a mistake. And Parks goes down, holds up the pack behind him, and that's going to allow everybody through, I think, ahead. So Heilman crosses the line. He wins. Larson through the whoops in second. Holm third, and Butigny will go through in fourth. So I was hoping to see what happened between Holm and Butigny, because those are the 2 that got together earlier. But as it turns out, they both just squeak on by anyway in third and fourth. Adams is going to be kicking himself. Late mistake. Drops back to 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all right behind him over the line. It was that close in the end, as Parks is going to cross up right there in P10. Whew! That was one heck of a finish to this LCQ. Everybody's so close together, and in the end, the front 4 just squeak in.
Yeah, a couple of those guys were down. Oh, she's controls look crazy. His bike's doing weird things. But some of those guys, man, they were having so many mistakes, going down and crashing so much, that for them to still kind of be right there, I did not expect Adam Holm to be in third after going down not once, but after having all that carnage happen. A couple of the guys unable to kind of make it happen. Trent Adams having some mistakes. But man, able to finally go through, get that top 4, and our leader, man, John Heilman, just cruising out front. He probably has no idea of the action and the carnage that was going on behind him, and he's probably really glad that he had a 12-second lead there. Didn't have to deal with any of that stress, and gets himself smoothly into the main event after not having the best qualifying time, but able to race himself in, and that's normally a good sign when you go into the main event with that confidence that you can go up there and race clean and consistent and have a good finish.
Yep, so it's Heilman going through, and he brought Larson, Butigny, and Holm with him as they all make it into the 450 main event. And now we go straight into the 3 races. I shouldn't have said main event, because it's races that we're going for here. 250 race 1 coming up first, of course. They will go 10 minutes plus a lap for the first race of their evening. So we'll get our timers all lined up there for all of that good fun. But this is certainly going to be a lot of fun to see how this all shakes down tonight with our championship contenders, as Seth Shirley tries to keep the ball rolling from the momentum he's built up this season already, and see if Jet Holyhead or anybody else can knock him off of that top pedestal. But of course, that's the fun of Triple Crown Racing. We get to do it 3 times and figure out who wins this thing at the end with the lowest score total. So if you win all 3, you get 3 points. 1, 1, 1 equals those 3 points. So we've seen winners the last couple times out from the Triple Crown be as wild as a 7-1-4 or something like that. It's never as simple as a 1-1-1, I feel like.
No, I mean, if there are some people that could do it, it's maybe Braden Carter or Seth Shirley, both the guys leading the championships that we're going to be seeing here tonight. But just honestly, I think we're going to get some great racing. See if Holyhead or any of the guys that are kind of a little bit behind Shirley in the championship can make some statements, go out and get a win. It's not a full main event win, but it is really nice to go out if you've never won a main before, and go out and have a good race and be the best guy on the track for 10 minutes plus a lap. I think it is for the 250 class. So just being able to go out there and dominate everyone can just help you so much with your confidence. Like I said, maybe this championship's getting away from them a little bit, but give you some confidence in outdoors and moving into next year, whether these 250 guys are able to move up to the 450 class or they can compete, for a title the next season. Maybe they won't have Seth Shirley to compete against next year, and they'll be the one that's pushing to kind of run away from it. So really excited to see what happens here and see if we can get some fresh faces on the top box tonight.
We're going to roll right into 250 race number 1 coming up here in just a moment for round 12 of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship in MX Simulator. Got to get a quick disconnect and reconnect. And while we do that, of course, want to give a shout out to MotoOption Clothing, Race Tech Suspension, Phil Ski and Snowboard, and Underground RC for backing the Race Director Gaming Supercross Championship here in MX Simulator. As we take a look at our running order here tonight, lining up for the first race, there is Seth Shirley on that JIBR.co number 44 machine. Red backgrounds on it and all ready to rip here tonight with an 18-point advantage in this championship. Tharp, Elliot Ringstrom, Maxime Vanderbeek, Ryan Pinkerton, Bodie Parker, Tanner Thorson, Rogan McIntosh, Hayden Stevenson, Austin Schaefer. Jet Holyhead there on the 50, Tyler Smith, Jack Gatlin, Max Chwalik, our fastest qualifier, and Cade Matherly for the Twizy number 25 program. Early pick tonight for the winner out of Mr. Andrew Wood earlier tonight, who said he thinks that it will be Cade Matherly getting it done. We'll find out if he's right.
I mean, he's got that dog in him, so sometimes you just got to watch out for that.
All right, here we go. 10 minutes set up and ready to go on the clock as we get ready to drop the gate here tonight. It is round 12 of the championship, but it's only round 6 for the 250 West guys. Let's go racing. Triple Crown action in 250s in Glendale.
Couple big jumps on this long start straight.
Yeah, the 29 looks like he may have pushed into the corner first. Let's see if he holds it as a huge pileup. Took a lot of people with it. It's actually, the 28 of Frank Jackson, Phil Ski and Snowboard rider, who picks up that whole shot. It's Max Chwalik right behind him, and also moving into second is Maxime Vanderbeek as we see some of our heavy hitters up front. And I saw the 44 of Seth Shirley down in that second rhythm lane.
Yeah, I think Shirley was down off the start in the first corner as well, so going down a couple times here early on going to be hard for him. But they do have a lot of time if he can work his way up and get a good finish. But Frank Jackson ahead of Maxime Vanderbeek here to lead off the first lap here. Really excited to see if these guys see you go and you get a good start and you can separate yourself. If you can just throw down a couple good laps, getting yourself a 1 or 2 in the first main event is a good way to kind of set yourself off on the right foot for the night and try to work your way towards the podium.
Yeah, the good thing about these kind of racing formats is a bad result doesn't hurt you right away, but a good result helps you a ton as Jackson flies off the outside of the track, hands over the lead to Maxime Vanderbeek, the rider out of Belgium on the Impact number 29, goes up front. And then our fastest qualifier, Max Chwalik, closing up behind him on that Phil Ski and Snowboard number 38. So we have some of our heavy hitters up towards the front, and it's really up to whether or not Seth Shirley can slice and dice his way through this tough field quickly, because he has put himself at a huge disadvantage early in this one. And we also have to keep an eye out, where is Jet Holyhead in the mix of all this? I've not seen the number 50 machine just yet as we look through some of our front runners up here. Of course, Holyhead factors in. He looks like he's down at 15th place. White Drizzle back there in P15.
Shirley, 17.
But he is ahead of Shirley, yeah, who is in 17th place. So now, battle focus on here. Vanderbeek versus Chwalik. Let's go on board with our fastest qualifier and see how he gets around this track here in Glendale.
Yeah, Chwalik, man, he is speed. That's the way he's Lightning McQueen out there. He just always seems to have really fast qualifying laps and able to put it down when he's on the racetrack, just makes kind of a lot of mistakes. So we're seeing our first look at this triple kind of quad across, so they only have half the track to land on there. It's kind of the most difficult part about that line, and that's really going to be interesting to see how that shapes up as these tracks get broken down. But see what he can do as he comes around. Both doing the same line through here. 250 guys are a little bit more, and he's going to jump off the side of the track, but he's able to bring it back on as long as he can keep that front end traction. He is, and man, doesn't really lose any time there chasing down Vanderbeek. But man, these guys are just sending it out here, trying to look for any and all opportunities they can on the track to make up any time.
I feel like Chwalik found the slight sliver on the side of the track that still would actually hook that front tire up and not send him sideways to still triple and get back on the track safely. Keeps this battle going between him and Vanderbeek, and this really gives you a good perspective of just how close these guys can race and not hit each other. I mean, these two riders are racing in Europe right now on a North American, so somewhere in the U.S. server, and they're having a feisty little battle for the race lead right now as Chwalik trying to get down the inside, thinks better of it though, and settles back behind Vanderbeek. Battle continues though between the 29 and the 38. And they're starting to open up a little bit of a gap on everybody else. So where is it that Chwalik feels that he can take this advantage and make this pass on Vanderbeek, seeming like maybe the whoops would be a good opportunity, but also there's a couple other spots that he's got sized up, I think.
I think the whoops in this first rhythm section, if you do get a good drive, someone clips that triple right there, but he's actually going to go long. That's a spot where I thought he might have a chance to be able to do it. These guys just chasing 1-2. They've already got an 8-second lead, and with a little bit of dualies there, these guys are just racing forward, trying to put down a great finish here tonight. But yeah, the whoops, Troll. Ooh, he's actually looks like maybe one of his weak spots. He does have a lot of speed, so maybe he just has to get a really good drive through one of these rhythm sections and wait for a mistake as he's tossing it over the finish line there. That's one of the ones where you throw it and it kind of gets away from you. You can kind of tell that he wasn't ready for it to go that big. So you're just praying for it to come back. See Seth Shirley still in 16th place as it goes. He scrolled across the top of the screen, 16th place. Trolloc, though, not really making any moves, so I think it's going to be a mistake by one of these guys here.
It's impressive to me that they've both been as clean as they've been for as long as they've been. I mean, I know it's only 4 minutes into this race, but sometimes these 250 guys are not as consistent as we can see out of the 450 class sometimes. And really, Vanderbeek and Twilight both doing a tremendous job at putting the pace down right now. Now, Twilight's starting to close that gap back down again as we get into the whoops. Is it going to be another situation where he makes a mistake in the whoops, or will it be Vanderbeek this time as they both hit the outside berm, cut back down, end up towards a bit of the middle. Vanderbeek hopping a little bit, but gets through very clean. Twilight much better through that time, but it seems like he lost just a little bit of time. Now he's going to try to gain it all back up by doing those gnarly scrubs that we saw.
Yeah, it's crazy. The riding styles look so different. Twilight looks a lot more animated on the bike, just a little bit looser there, but making a lot of mistakes almost because of it, just being a little bit squirrely here and there, just kind of not able to put it down. But Vanderbeek just looks like slow and like not slow and steady, but his form is kind of great and he looks very stable on the bike. But man, two different ways to do it. Twilight scrubbing out a little bit harder in this triple, lap after lap after lap, but still really not able to make any time. And these guys are just pulling away from the rest of the field out here.
Man, it just seems like they are both putting down the exact same lap times and inching forward from everybody else. Like you said, no one is even close on the picture anymore. But this battle remains hot and heavy at the front. Halfway through this first race of 3 in the Triple Crown at Glendale, Max Twilight trying to go after Maxime Vanderbeek. It's a battle of the Maxes. Who's going to get that maximum effort completed to win this main event to start off the evening, as Vanderbeek, again, a little bit better through the whoops, opens up that gap back over Twilight. Now Twilight has to regroup once again, try to close that gap back down. It's a yo-yo of sorts because Vanderbeek is the cleaner rider through the whoops, but then Twilight gains it all back every other part of the track, and he just can't seem to make that pass stick before they get to the whoops.
Yeah, I do want to just point something out. Besides this yo-yo kind of going on, I did see Holyhead scrolled across the top of the screen in 5th place, and Seth Shirley, who was in 17th, while he was in 15th. Oh, Twilight with his mistake almost brings the round to land. The front flip out. Looks like he may have jumped a little too wide and clipped a hay bale going off that last triple, sends him over the bars. But yeah, Holyhead able to come from 15th to 5th. Let's kind of see where these guys are at. Twilight didn't even lose a spot there.
He's still second.
Braden Tharp, 9th place, and the Holyhead all the way up to 4th after being back in 15th place. Ryan Peakerton behind him in 5th, and our LCQ winner Hayden Stevenson in 6th place as well. So a good ride from him after coming through the LCQ.
Want to do a lap time check. 102.1, 101.6, so Tharp even going faster. So they're all kind of in the same range. 102.5, 102.3 last time by for Twilight, but of course that's going to be a little bit of a blown up lap time. Tharp fastest rider on the track right now, 101.6 for him, and seemingly trying to close this gap down to our leaders. I mean, at this point, we're running out of time in this one for them to get up to Vanderbeek if he continues this streak that he's on out front. But another 101 for him, a 102.1 out of Jet Holyhead, trying to close the gap down and maybe get a third out of this one late. And then Pinkerton at the 102.7 range, so not quite qualifying pace, even though the track is probably about as best as it's going to be right now, but still really good consistent lap times for all of our front runners.
Yeah, it's crazy to me to see that Holyhead had the slowest lap time of all of them, but he just must be putting them down consistently, as all the other guys around him. You know, he made up over 10 spots, just kind of slow and steady wins the race. You don't need to get up there and win this race. Just get up there, get a 4th place, and have a good finish coming in. And your second and third main events here tonight is where you have to put it down. I think Gatlin, I might have missed that pass there. Sorry about that. Gatlin able to make the pass right there as well, so he's moving up a little bit more. And some of these guys, they're a little bit far off the lead, but they're still in the race, you know, trying to move up and get any pass that they can as he's chasing down Pinkerton right there, right? Yes, on the 5th place machine. So a little bit sideways in the whoops, but able to hold on to it there. Stevenson behind, Matherly, Schaefer, Jackson, Ringstrom, Shirley, Shirley looks like he's just outside the top 10. Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
12th place position for him.
But fortunately for him, he does have quite a few riders right in front of him still. So if he can maybe weave through this group before the checkered flag waves, he'll do himself a huge favor towards those final couple main events to try to pull it back onto the podium, or maybe even steal a win if things get really wild. But rough first race for our championship leader. Still has a big championship lead, so he's probably not sweating it too much. We never want to be buried this deep in the pack for this long, because it always sets up opportunities where you could go down like that, almost landing on Elliot Ringstrom. That is another pass, though, up into 11th now for him. So more points gained, obviously, for him towards a better result here tonight. Going to go to the top 10 as Cade Matherly hits the deck, the 25 machine, who is up inside the top 10 down, and he's going to go all the way back to about 15th spot as he gets up just ahead of Tanner Thorson.
Yeah, it's we see him almost get into some of these riders. Seth Shirley, as he's trying to make his way past Frank Jackson, and he does right there. It's just when you're buried so far deep in the pack, it's so hard to get around people. They're just all over the place. Maybe your speed's a little bit ahead of theirs, but we see it time and time again. Every time he goes past someone that's on the ground, just like that, almost going down in the whoops, picking up another spot easy, that's really what you want to see. So every time that someone makes a big mistake like that and he gets by without having to actually make the pass, you know he's loving it right there. That's just free points for him, as there's another one. Is another mistake. And they get into each other, and he gets sent flying, and he... Oh my
he's
God.
Down. Yeah, I thought he was going to pirouette out of that. So
1080.
He had just made it around Schaefer, I believe, into 8th. So he's going to go back into 14th now, actually 13th as he gets right back through. Or no, he's still 14th behind Matherly. This group is still so close together, though, so he could gain them all right back again if things get wild down the stretch. And it's really just going to come down to timing based on what these guys are all doing. As Matherly gets squared up by Ringstrom, they're going back and forth down the start straight. Matherly puts him on the ground, says, you don't try to do that to me. And Shirley's through the front door. He goes up over top of him. He was battling with the first corner as well. So that's really going to hurt him now. As we've crested the 10-minute mark, I think these guys might just about to... Shirley down
it's
again.
falling apart.
I was just about to say, I think these guys are just about to be lapped. Yeah, there's Vanderbeek going by on the 29. So our race leader has now lapped Seth Shirley, who is now all the way back to 18th. So just when it was going to go his way, he was in 8th about 35 seconds ago. Now he's down at 18th. That just shows you how quickly things can change in an instant here. MotoOption Supercross. Whoa, Vanderbeek just got lit up by Elliot Ringstrom, I believe, who's now 18th behind Shirley, a lap down. That is horrible by Ringstrom. That allows Tralick back into the picture, and we're back to seeing it again. Horrendous lappers, horrendous people playing this game, getting involved with race leading action as the white flag waves.
Did they not watch the intro and learn their lesson of what they're not supposed to do? I mean, I'm glad that Vanderbeek able to get up still in the lead here. He doesn't have as big of a gap to Tralick as he would like. But good that he's actually able to get up and hopefully keep moving his way forward. I do want to go back to Shirley, though, as Twalick actually getting close. That all the stuff that happened with Shirley that made him go all the way back to 18th place that's what he probably had been dealing with the whole race when we were wondering why Holyhead was able to move up and he wasn't. You just have all that crazy stuff going on when you're so deep in the pack. So getting a good start, getting yourself out front early like Twalick and Vanderbeek have done, is so important here.
This is coming down to the end. Let's see if Twilight can square it back up. Again, the only reason this is happening is because Ringstrom crashed Vanderbeek back to this position, but Twilight is trying to take advantage. Into the Supercross triple. He scrubs it down hard. Will he go to the inside before the whoops? No. He's got to get a great run in the whoops here on this final lap. Vanderbeek gets a beauty across the top, though. Skims all the way through. He's going to try to hold it into this last corner. Defends the inside well. Maxime Vanderbeek wins race 1 of the Triple Crown in Glendale, just ahead of Max Twalick. Great ride for both of them. Really put on a show for us, as it will be Braden Tharp who's going to complete the podium out of this one. Whew, what a race that was, and congrats to Maxime Vanderbeek.
Yeah, man, it's just great riding by those top two here. Ryan Pinkerton coming across in 4th. Holyhead able to come back all the way up into 5th place. Nice finish by him and Hayden Stevenson here. After going through the LCQ, winning that LCQ, able to move up into 6th. Gatlin in 7th here. Austin Schaefer in 8th. Frank Jackson coming across in 9th place. And Buddy Parker rounding out your top 10 if you can get through this last corner cleanly. And, man, what an insane ride. So many of those guys in the middle of the field just so much action going on. It feels like you don't get time to breathe in these races. Look at this battle to the line coming. Noah McLaughlin being chased by Sorensen and McIntosh. Sorensen's going to try to go up the inside. Does he get it? No, it's a drag race, but he's going to come up just short. McIntosh right behind him, and Ringstrom
ends up in 14th. Thorsten's going to get 15th. Matherly 16th. Rogers 17th. Seth Shirley, last guy on the lead lap, is going to get 18th. Really rough first race for Shirley, who will remain 18th after penalties have been applied. Looks like Rogan McIntosh leapfrog Sam Sorensen to get the 12th position, and seeing if there's any other penalties in this one that affected anything. Oh, Jet Holyhead goes from 5th to 4th. He got around Ryan Pinkerton, who did finish 4th, but Holyhead ends up with a 4 in this one. You also have Tharp 3rd, Twalik 2nd, and Vanderbeek does hold on to win this after penalties are applied. So it actually was Twalik that had about 1.2 seconds extra of cuts. Vanderbeek had no cuts. Twilik's had 1.2, so that extended that gap out. Vanderbeek wins race 1 of the 250s and sets us up for quite an interesting night here after an 18th place out of our points leader, Seth Shirley.
Yeah, just a great ride by these guys, both having pretty good starts, able to get through that early lap carnage and just hold on to it. Vanderbeek with a clean race, no cuts there. That just means he felt confident out there. He wasn't doing anything crazy, wasn't getting sketchy. So Vanderbeek may be a force to be reckoned with. I don't know if Shirley can bounce back from an 18th place there after that rough start. So this might be the night that one of these guys can get up there. Holyhead coming back all the way up to 4th. If he gets a good start, you're going to have to watch out for him. The way that these points work out, you got to keep an eye on kind of that top 5 and see if any of those guys can repeat as we move on through the night, and they can start stacking up low scores for this Olympic scoring that we have that does decide our overall winner here tonight. But a great start, exactly how you want to start off if you're Maxime Vanderbeek.
Yeah, the key to these races for sure is consistency. So unfortunately for Shirley, he has dug himself a huge hole. You just had 3 top 10 results. You most likely end up in the top 5 overall, but for Shirley, he's going to have to come back really big and put a couple maybe 1s or 2s on the board to round this thing off. And we'll see if he can do that coming up here in just a little bit. Not sure what the delay is right now. I'm wondering if perhaps things are being sorted with Ringstrom in the server, but they had just posted up the 450 race 1 order, so we're about to go 450 racing here in just a moment. And I wonder if we will not see Elliot Ringstrom back for race 2 in this 250 class.
Yeah, especially after everything that just happened, I feel like that might be a harsh penalty that they kind of take care of before the racing moves on for the rest of the night, because they don't want that to continue to happen. And maybe they'll start taking swifter action with these guys and kind of making decisions fast, especially if you do see it. I mean, we got video evidence, right up on the screen there so that they can kind of go look at. So yeah, it would be interesting to see as we good storyline to kind of keep an eye out for as we do move on into the second 250 race. After we get this 450 United Racing started, I'm super pumped because these 450 races they're so close. They're so good. The action is just always jam packed. So can't wait. Triple Crowns. We're going to lose our voices by the end of this night, I'm pretty sure.
Of course, the storyline rolling into the 450 class, Braden Carter up 24 points on Alexis Leclerc. And the Triple Crown could maybe throw a bit of a wrench in that plan for Carter, but he's also been pretty good at the Triple Crowns as well. The real story I feel like with the Triple Crowns is Colby Eaglin has only got 2 race wins this year, and they have both been at Triple Crowns. So he has been perfect at both Triple Crowns this year. Not necessarily perfect because he hasn't gone 1-1-1, but Eaglin is the only rider that has won a Triple Crown this year in the 450 class, trying to make it 3 for 3 to get the Triple Crown sweep. No prizes paid out for being the Triple Crown champion, but I feel like that's a cool thing to hang on the mantle at home for yourself if you get it done here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, that's an interesting storyline. Kind of forgot he won the second one too. It just always shows up with when it comes to consistency here. It's crazy. You'd think you'd see him a little bit higher in the championship with how consistent he is at these races. But maybe it also kind of goes to show you that you can have two good races and then one bad race, and it doesn't all completely destroy you. Whereas if you're doing that in the championship, you are dropping huge points at the end of the night. And maybe that's what's bringing you out of the championship a little bit. But going to be interesting to see what he can do if he can get up there in the mix between Leclerc and Carter. And Carter also knows that he doesn't really have to push it. He has such a huge lead in this championship. He just really has to manage what he's got going on between him and Leclerc and kind of see where we're at. But Eaglin, man, he's been dominant at these. He's kind of the surprise of the year for me when it comes to just how good he's been at these Triple Crown races.
Yeah, we knew he'd probably be a title contender of some sort, maybe a little bit more of a fringe one this year based on the end of the season last year, but man, when these Triple Crowns have come around, he has certainly come to play. And it really boils down to his results in the final races. I think he's won both race 3s that we've had, really to seal the deal at each of them. And we'll see if he can get it done again here tonight. Braden Carter, Alexis Leclerc, Colby Eagland, and the rest of them going to the gate for 450 race 1, the first race of the night in the Triple Crown for our 450 riders. This one goes 12 minutes plus a lap, so we're going to see these guys out here for 12 minutes and see who ends up on top. We'll take a look at Eagland down the inside as the 30 board goes sideways. The revs are going to come up, and who's going to get that RaceTractorGaming.com whole shot? Let's find out. Oh, some bar banging halfway down the straightaway. Hubbard on the 78 controls the inside of the first corner. Down on the outside goes Luke Sullivan. RaceTractorGaming.com. Whole shot goes to Jacob Hubbard. Outside line 89, I believe, of Caden Speck is in the mix with Leclerc jumping down the inside. He's going to go short, but Carter somehow squeezed through it all and comes out with the race lead on the 1. Castellaneta goes to second on the 12.
I was looking on the outside there. One of the riders got put up over the berm. A little mistake there happened, and then Braden Carter just shoots out with that red number 1 plate. I don't know. I didn't even see what happened there, but he's able to pass all these guys and put himself out front early and try to get a huge lead right here. Eagland in 5th, the guy that we've been talking about. So pretty good start for him, able to get through some of this first lap carnage. But Braden Carter, you don't want to see him out front early. That's a dangerous, dangerous sign.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite thing Leclerc was hoping for probably out of Carter. He was hoping maybe something similar to what's happened to Shirley with going down early and having to fight his way forward. But Carter setting himself up great here tonight. Off the start, rips the early race lead. Not quite the whole shot. Of course, that went to his teammate Hubbard. But Carter leads from Castellaneta, Leclerc, Logan Leitzel up in the 4th spot. Colby Eagland is in 5th. Janice 6th. Enzo Butigny down there in 7th. Brandon Larson 8th. Ben Seberg in 9th. Alec Horn rounding out the top 10 with Hubbard, our whole shot winner, back in 11th. Adam Holm in 12th. John Heilman 13th with Luke Sullivan trying to pass around the outside of Rockefeller, who's going to slide out, and Sullivan, who was down in the first corner, is going to move up another position right there. So Sullivan picking things up on the 11 after that first turn crash, now following an absolute freight train of riders as we sort through everybody on the first lap. Back to our leaders, though, in the front 3 fields. Yamaha is starting to skirt away from everybody else.
Yeah, besides this front 3 there, everyone going deep back in the pack is so close to each other. Can't make a mistake early on in this 450 class, but look at these guys. Just the lap times they're dropping. 1 minute, 0.9 for Leclerc. He's actually going to, a little mistake. He almost runs into the back of his teammate, so they're going to have to slow up. That's going to give Braden Carter some breathing room out front. Let's see what can happen here. Leclerc looks like he wants to get on the move here fast, and it looks like he does have a little bit more speed than his teammate, so we'll see if he can make something happen here. Haven't seen too many passes, but we get a great drive right here by Leclerc. Is he going to try to go up the inside? He is going to make the pass right there on Castellaneta and get into second place. Little bobble there, but man, he can just bring it back from anything. These guys, they have so much experience, but just like that, still fills 1, 2, 3, and now Leclerc is chasing down the championship leader of Braden Carter and his teammate in first.
Yeah, Carter definitely did get that advantage gained out of them. Leclerc and Castellaneta almost getting together. Eagland shoots around Leitzel. He is now up into the 4th spot as Leitzel goes to the top blocks and goes down in the background. Janice goes by as Leitzel lays sideways in the start straight. There goes Butigny, and there goes as well the 119, I believe, of Ben Seberg also going through. So everybody shuffling around early on here. But back into this battle for second, man, Colby Eagland fired up and ready to go. He is already on the rear tire here of Castellaneta, trying to squeeze up into the top 3. Doesn't want to let those 2 other championship rivals up ahead of him try to get away, as it's really down to just kind of the 3 of them that we're focusing on between Carter, Leclerc, and Eagland. Eagland, of course, still just going for those individual win honors, whereas Leclerc's trying to keep this title alive. He is trying to go catch Braden Carter out front, but the battle's starting to brew now for this 3rd position. Castellaneta quadding into the corners, so there's the other option. Over table triple quad. That's the other line that I think some of those 250 guys are hoping to get, but nobody quite has the power. Those 450 guys able to lurch it out and get it done, though.
Yeah, I could see making a small mistake there, though, too. It's kind of a double-edged sword when you try to make those big lines. Use them to your advantage, quadding out into a corner. If you do clip it, you're kind of going over the bars and over the berm normally. Castellaneta here riding great, but looks like he doesn't have the raw speed that some of these other guys do. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Eagland make a pass sometime during this lap or early on into the next one. But Eagland doesn't want to lose sight of his competitors in front of him. Braden Carter not too far away, so if he can get past Castellaneta here and get it close to Leclerc, he definitely feels like he has the speed to run with these guys, and we know that he likes this Triple Crown format. So I'd keep an eye on this and see if Colby, or if he tries to make a move sometime this lap or early on into the next lap.
Yeah, he's trying to figure something out here. Can't quite figure it out just yet. In fact, nobody going over table.
Ooh, like the quad there.
Little quad double down the inside for Eagland, and a nice block pass that doesn't quite work out. Tucks the front end. He's going to only lose a little bit of time. No, he might lose a spot to Janice here. Scrubbing to the outside. Janice might just let him have it, and he does. So Eagland maintains that 4th position. Almost had a beautiful block pass lined up. In the end, doesn't quite get it. So Janice coming through in 5th now. Butigny 6th. Seaberg 7th. Lights will slip back behind Seaberg in that crash now as he tries to battle it out. He's going to close up on the impact rider right here as he's chasing down his fellow teammate, Enzo Butigny, just up the road. Leitzel looking pretty strong here tonight. We haven't seen the best of Logan Leitzel much this year on the number 3 in Supercross. As did Leclerc just make a mistake and go backwards? He did. He's now behind Eagland and Janice. So I don't know if he had a fall off, but he definitely lost quite a bit of ground as Carter continues to extend his lead out front, going the other direction. Where is actually Castellaneta? Did I miss that?
Place.
Oh, no, he still is in second. Yeah, maybe if he holds on going over the berm there like Kevin Moran's in the first corner. But Colby Eagland now gets around Leclerc. He's going to try to close back up on Matthias Janice and bust out that same quad double line. A couple other guys trying to figure that line out as well, as Leclerc looks like he maybe nailed it right behind him. So this battle's starting to brew again for 3rd place, but Janice in control this time as Eagland and Leclerc bear down behind.
Yeah, every time those little mistakes happen just like that, Eagland's going to slide out and then he catches. He's going to go over high sides over the bar. Someone else going down too as well, exiting the whoop section. But man, Eagland with such a great ride up to that point, even with a couple mistakes, and he goes down and loses it. That's going to give Leclerc 4th place. So Leclerc is now the only championship contender kind of fighting for this win against Carter. But man, Carter is starting to gain him, or he's checked out. He's like a section and a half in front of these guys. But this is not what you want to see when Carter is this up front and comfortable this early. Doesn't really bode well for Leclerc, who's trying to make up points in this championship, not go ahead and get a 4th and give him a 1 to start off this Triple Crown here tonight. So Leclerc is going to be trying to work his way back up into at least 2nd place here. And maybe pray for some mistakes by Carter, his teammate up front. Yeah,
he's trying to size something up the inside of Janice right there, but Janice did a good job kind of defending the inside line. Now they're going to go over the triple nearly together. Leclerc got really close. Down the inside, puts him down. Kind of saw that one coming from a ways back. And Leclerc, just the way he rides sometimes with those aggressive passes, he's got Hubbard coming backwards on the other side of the track. But Leclerc, obviously from France, not usually intentionally trying to take people out, but that little bit of extra lag in those close quarters racing that he likes to do usually puts people on the ground a little bit faster than some of his other competitors. That time it's going to put him up into 3rd, and Janice slides back a few positions. Now Leclerc puts his head down, tries to close up on Castellaneta, as Carter, we haven't seen much of him at all this race, still continues to lead. We're past the halfway point, and just putting in his laps out front, cruising away in this championship. Definitely cruising away in this race right now.
He just doesn't even look like he's trying out front here. Looks super comfortable, getting the rhythm, just kind of nailing it. All he's got to really worry about is dissecting his way around lappers. He's got such a good whoop technique. Doesn't even look like he's trying hitting that quad that Eagland kind of was seat bouncing. He's just kind of flowing. So, man, these guys, I just think it's his year. You know, it's when you got it the way he does, it's kind of hard to be off your game. I mean, this is only race 1 of 3 here tonight, but we haven't seen too many terrible blow-up rides by him. You know, even when he makes a lot of mistakes, has a bunch of crashes, he still ends up on the podium somehow. And getting a win in the first race here tonight is definitely the way to kind of set that tone for the rest of it. And just keep moving as we go through this championship.
Yeah, I feel like Carter, Leclerc, Johnson when he was around, Eagland, all those guys are usually pretty good at limiting the damage, but I definitely would agree. Carter's been the best at it when he has bad starts. He's able to come through quite well. Really, it seems like some of his bad races are when he starts up front and makes too many mistakes while leading or battling up front and goes backwards a little bit. Right now, in cruise control at the front of this one, has over a 10-second advantage in hand on his teammate, Braden Castellaneta. Leclerc is starting to inch up on Castellaneta slowly but surely in a battle that would materialize for second. Enzo Butigny out of the LCQ quietly has made his way all the way up into 4th place here, doing a tremendous job on the Impact 119 program. Luke Sullivan from a first turn crash is now up into the top 5 as well, so also a great ride for the 11 machine as Janice with that crash slipped back, and Eagland still on the charge in 7th, trying to get a few more passes done here before we're out of time here. We got 3 minutes and a lap left to go.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that Butigny, after going through that LCQ, it seemed like he was part of so much drama and wasn't able to kind of get away from some of those guys. But I think it just goes to show you that when you do get into these main events, and everyone kind of has a little bit more racecraft, more speed. Dooley,
Aw,
you missed that. Was
missed it.
it?
That's a good one.
Old Colby Eaglin up the inside, and he's gonna go by.
yeah.
So Colby Eaglin making a move there, but it's just so much easier to ride when everyone around you has a little bit better pace and they kind of have a little bit more head on your shoulders. You know, we got the race cleaned up a little bit from 2 weeks ago here, and Butigny's got to be loving that. Nice clean racing up in the front, and he's having a great ride. He actually lost a spot to Sullivan, looks like. Eaglin actually goes by Butigny was down right there, so he's now up
I
in
didn't see Butigny
fifth.
down. I saw the Yamaha rider down. I was trying to get a name on that, but I knew it was a Phil's rider who's a little bit ways back, as that rider just went down on the back tire of Matthias Janis. So Eaglin's now trying to close up on Sullivan for third, I believe. No, excuse me, fourth. So fourth place Sullivan, fifth place Eaglin, as they continue their fight here. Big gap up to Castellaneta, who is now in the 3 spot. Leclerc has moved up to second. 15.6 second lead for Carter with just a few minutes left to go. So the battle really to watch right here is the one for fourth. Sullivan versus Eaglin. Sullivan has quietly had a very solid first full season in the 450 classes here. Right up inside the top 10 very often, in the mix for podiums here and there, but hasn't really put it all together for race winning speed just yet. Right now doing a tremendous job, though, keeping Eaglin at bay, but how much longer can this last? Eaglin goes for the quad double. Will he get it? Oh, they land on each other, and they're both down.
Colby Eaglin goes down in that corner with Sullivan. Bummer right there for those guys. They're only going to lose 1 spot, I think. Look at these guys both racing to get back up as quick as they can, side by side. A little bit of
Doolies.
Little baby doolies. Coming into the whoops here. So now it sucks when you're on a good pace and you go down with someone, not on purpose at all, just making a little bit of a mistake, but you can see the urgency that they're getting up with, not only to move forward, as we might see it past. That's some doolies right there up the inside. Doesn't go for it. He does. He shows him a wheel, not able to make it work. Colby Eaglin double stays alive. Butigny actually going to be able to go back. Looks like they made contact going up the face of that. Now we're going to get some doolies again.
That's just
Sullivan
everywhere.
and Butigny tossing it. Oh, Sullivan Butigny almost went through the front door. Just getting tossed around like a wet salad, as Kellen would say. But Sullivan able to hold on to it here and stay up in this. I don't even know what place we're in. I think we're around 5th place here. Sullivan fighting, though. And Butigny, man, he's got some fight after that LCQ. He's ready to go.
Oh, Janet, or Eaglin, I should say, through the front door in the first corner. Everyone's coming into some problems here as we just now crossed the 12-minute mark, and it looks like we'd already checked in out front with Braden Carter again, so this is 2 laps ago. Doolies, Butigny opposite Doolies, down the inside, pushes Sullivan into the Davlos pails. Sullivan has to back out of them to keep going. Logan Leitzel suddenly just back in the mix again, with Eaglin also right there in the background trying to fight back against Leitzel, who lawn darts off the outside of the berm right there. He's going to join back in through the mechanics area, but loses a position as Eaglin goes by. Sullivan has just getting tossed around right now, battling with Butigny. Butigny now jumps into the tough block, so Sullivan goes back by him as Eaglin's trying to fight back into the rear tire of Butigny here. Oh my goodness, the battles are just going back and forth in this mix in the top 5 right now. Nobody seems to want it. Still musical positions. Definitely not over yet with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, anything can happen here. I mean, besides maybe the front pack, Janis on back. Actually, Janis is even checked out. So this Sullivan, Butigny, Eaglin battle is really the only thing going on on the track. And these 3, they're doing so many different lines. Look at that over table. He's going to go triple. Is he going to quad out? Yes, he is. He's on the outside. Eaglin, though, a little bit further behind. Those guys touch tips just a little bit there going in the corner. But look at this. Butigny almost Triley's coming over that. And look at this. Another move on the inside. And this time he makes it work.
Out. Oh, Butigny gets swapped in the woods. Oh, he takes Eaglin out too. And Leitzel's just like, excuse me, pardon me. I'm going to cut the track. Maybe pass you guys a little bit. Eaglin gets back up, goes for Butigny in the next corner. Butigny blocks the inside, over the finish line jump, whips in his face. Butigny down the inside, pushes Eaglin into the bales and goes down again. What in the heck is going on? These guys are absolutely murdering each other for position. Back and forth they go. Meanwhile, up front, final corner is all that is happening behind them. Braden Carter's going to cruise to the win. Carter wins nearly wire to wire. Race 1 goes to the champ. Leclerc looks like he'll pick up second. Castellaneta will make it a Phil's 1, 2, 3 as Janis is in 4th. Leitzel now 5th. Lang has got all the way up to 6th through this group as Sullivan continues to duke it out with Butigny. Butigny hits his rear tire and Sullivan slides out. Oh my goodness, these guys are still hitting each other. So now can Butigny close up on Lang? Will Lang make a late mistake here as, oh, Butigny goes down through the front door in that section right there. Leitzel made a small bobble as well. Might allow Lang back into the picture as they go into the whoops on the final lap. As Janus crosses the line, he's now 4th, locked in. And Leitzel has crawled his way all the way back. Will somehow round out the top 5 in this one. The 3 spot, or the number 3 goes across in the 5 spot, I should say.
Sullivan's right behind
Lang,
Butigny too, or was.
England, Butigny
Oh,
down,
he's dead.
or Sullivan down, Butigny going by. Caleb Hall also gets a position gained right there. He's going to go up to 9th as Sullivan at the end of all this picks up a 10th place. Unbelievable back and forth that was. And Heilman crosses in 11th, the last guy in the lead lap. Wow, what a finish to that one. That was chaotic to say the least, with Butigny, Sullivan all hitting each other in the mix with each other. And in the end, it is Braden Carter who takes the win, 450, race 1 here in Glendale.
Wow. Logan Leitzel, T Lane got the position on cuts. That's the one thing I just see out of order from what we were at. But, man, they got to be just saying thank you to all the guys going back and forth ahead of them. They must have been back in, like, 10th, 11th place while all that was going on. And, man, Luke Sullivan dropped all the way back to 10th place there. Just crazy action there. Not the best finish by Eagland as he started off so strong, wanted to have a good ride and keep it with his winning ways in these Triple Crown races. But, man, just absolute show of force here tonight by Braden Carter and Alexis Leclerc so far. Great ride by Castaneda holding on in 3rd. And, man, just some good old racing with the boys, you know. Some takeouts, some aggressive riding, but nothing too dirty, you know, kind of just poking the front end in there, pushing guys over berms. You know, they're just fighting for it. They're not, you know, not riding backwards.
I feel like Sullivan and
Butigny might have got a little.
Eagland are probably not going to be too stoked with Enzo Butigny after that. I'm sure there's going to be some worries exchanged in that red zone tunnel over there on the top right. They're going to be a little bit heated.
Yeah, I mean, he's just built Diffie, and he's
Diffie.
yeah, you just got to watch out for. I mean, I love the fight, and he didn't like slam anyone too hard, right? The one where he went into the Davos Bales was kind of a failed, a little bit too far behind pass attempt. Still was able to make it work, and then he did have a great takeout block pass that you just. They look so much worse in this game because you just flop over like a flounder and just slam your head in the ground and fall off. So I don't know. I thought it was some great racing here tonight. Nothing like we saw in that first 250 race. So we're gonna have to see if Ringworm. What's
Elliot Ringstrom.
Ringworm's still in the
Come
second
on now.
race.
What are you all about, Fernando Tatis Jr. over there? Come on now.
Woo, sheesh. Imagine cheating.
Yikes. All right, rolling it back here as we get ready to go here in the next race of the evening. 250 race number 2 coming up. Maxime Vanderbeek getting the win in the first one there. Max Twi'lek giving him a run for his money, but we got to see whether or not Seth Shirley can bounce back in this one or not, or will somebody else maybe jump forward and make things a little bit interesting? Gonna find out here in just a few moments. Who do you think is gonna shine through in this one, though?
I mean, Holy had a great comeback, so I'm really looking forward for White Drizzle there to get a great start and just kind of get in the top 5 off the start, get through the first 2 rhythms, probably just get to the start straight clean after the whoop section. If he's in the top 5 there, I think it's going to be a fight to the finish there, just with the amount of time that he was able to make up throughout that first 250 race. So going to look for him. I mean, everyone just to kind of get some starts, see if Shirley can, you know, bring it together. I'm sure he threw in some practice laps there as he was kind of had this break while this 450 race went. I just think it'd be good to him to kind of settle down, take a deep breath, and kind of try to throw it in with the boys and race against Twi'lek and Vanderbeek, who were your 2-1 finishers in the first race.
Yeah, it was Vanderbeek and Twi'lek 1-2. Braden Tharp ended up in 3rd with Jet Holyhead in 4th. Ryan Pinkerton inside of the top 5. And then, of course, the big name back in 18th was Seth Shirley. So Shirley trying to rebound here in race 2. We'll see if he's able to do that or if somebody else will shine through in this one. Cade Matherly also looking for a turnaround. Elliot Ringstrom is back racing in this one, so it looks like they maybe let him off with a warning after that contact with race leader Maxime Vanderbeek as he was a lap down. But there is Vanderbeek on the 29, looking to keep the ball rolling from that first race and see if he can pick up another dub or at least put another good score on the board so that he rolls into the last race with a great opportunity to win this thing here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Vanderbeek, you go out in front, you get a great start. He went through a little bit of carnage too, but getting yourself out front early, getting a win in these Triple Crowns is just such an easy way to make sure you're going to have a good night here. Ooh, there's a little quad for the 250 guys. Kind of like that. Leaves you with the extra jump though and that double out there. But I mean, I really like to see that some of these guys, they just kind of give themselves momentum. So I'm really wondering if Twalik and Vanderbeek, after just training all the way through this first race, if they can continue to build on it. Sometimes you see it's just a flash in the pan and they're done for the night. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they can keep building on it and just, tonight's your night. A lot of times you do that through a heat race and then the main event. It's pretty easy, but to be able to continue to do that over 3 Triple Crown races is definitely a big task. So going to be something to keep an eye on here.
All right, here we go. Rolling into race 2 of the 250 class from Glendale as we get loaded back on the gate and get ready to drop it here. See who's going to get that all-important hole shot, whether Jet Holyhead or perhaps Seth Shirley have a better one this time. Shirley's still lining up far inside Vanderbeek with that optimal mid-gate selection. Here we go, 250 race 2 from Glendale.
Oh, Shirley looking pretty good.
Oh, Vanderbeek on that rear tire, bumping and banging. Vanderbeek down to the first corner and through the middle there. One of the Hondas on the outside. It's Rogan McIntosh picking up the RaceHardGaming.com Whole Shot Award. And this time, it is Shirley making it through the first rhythm clean. He comes out as your race leader. Twalik right behind him there on the 38, though, as McIntosh settles into third.
Twalik's got to be he's looking really good here. He's got to be really happy to be in this position. You don't even have to worry about finishing or about beating Seth Shirley after that horrendous performance by him in the first race. He's got about 18 points coming into this, something like that. So all he has to do is go 2-2, and you're going to be on your way to probably winning this race tonight. So just my advice to him would be not to kind of worry about what Shirley's doing and just don't get into it with him. But Shirley, man, this is going to be, I think, a completely different race as he's up front where he feels comfortable and where he feels like he belongs. This is probably going to be a really, really clean race for him.
Yeah, I mean, the first race, it wasn't that the speed wasn't there for sure. It was just some weird mistimed crashes and a couple other instances getting involved with other riders. But I do feel that the speed is, of course, there for Max Twalik. And I almost feel like, even though, like you said, he doesn't need to pass Shirley, I feel like he kind of just wants to prove his point here tonight that he is the fastest rider on this track here in Glendale. And a win would do him huge wonders going into that final race with 2-1 scores on the board. Closing up on Shirley, who makes a mistake. Into the triple they go. Is Twalik going for the lead down the inside? No, he's going to settle back in, just like he did with Vanderbeek. So perhaps we're in for another good battle between these two as Shirley continues to lead. Twalik around the outside, not able to get it done into the tunnel. Inside here, does this work? Not quite there either. Shirley maintains the lead on lap number 3. They go.
I do like the move, just kind of showing him a nose, letting him know that you're there, but you don't have to do anything aggressive. I would have gone up the inside after the Supercross triple and made it past 100%. He had it made, but the thing is, if Shirley's not expecting it, he turns down into you. You both go down. You're now on the ground, and you're getting passed by 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place. So it's really good just to kind of train, get an early huge lead, kind of like Leclerc and Braden Carter did in that last 450 race we watched. Just separate yourselves from the field, and I think if there's a mistake from Shirley, he's close enough to capture it. Look at the speed. He knows he's got it. He was your fastest qualifier here tonight, and he's going to take it if it comes to him moving up alongside, but he's not going to push out of character and make it happen, I don't think, unless it's a wide open door.
And Twalik is so close to the rear tire. I don't know how they haven't hit yet. And Twalik is really pushing his luck here because if Shirley makes any mistake, he's going to get involved as Shirley almost goes down on the whoops. Twalik around the inside, turns to the inside here. Let's see if Shirley can hold her on the outside. Cuts back up underneath, over the finish line. Dualies. Shirley going to go for the lead? No, he gives it to Twalik. Twalik maybe opens the door a little bit. Shirley double cuts back to the inside. Twalik takes over the race lead with a beautiful move. A nice sequence by both of them, giving them plenty of space, and the battle continues.
Yeah, nice clean battle there by those guys. Twalik showing he had just a little bit more speed, and then when he saw that mistake happen in the whoops, he knew he had to pounce. So really nice, smooth, clean pass there, able to make it happen. And we just know he's got the speed, and if you don't, you're running with Vanderbeek all last race. He was in 14th place as he just scrolled by the top of the screen. So we don't even have to worry about him right now. Twalik's just thinking this is my night and my race to happen. So I'm just going to get out up front here, lead, and just cruise and ride my own race. And now that he's past Shirley, he has no one else to worry about unless Shirley remounts the charge. But I think he knows he's got the speed for that.
Twalik just went invis. That is potentially an internet issue. Hopefully it's not a complete loss of service for him as he was in the race lead. Oh, this would be so detrimental for his evening if he doesn't come back. There he is. Okay, just a little bit of a blip,
Peekaboo.
and he's still in the race lead, but barely, as he and Shirley are dicing back and forth. I wonder if Shirley even knew that he was there, if he was completely gone for him, and then suddenly reappeared side by side over the triple dualies, as Shirley to the outside trying to take the lead back. Twi'lek down the inside trying to hold the lead away from him. Controls the inside, keeps the lead. Shirley has to settle back into second place, and now let's see if the battle continues here with Shirley to the outside into the tough blocks. Oh man, Twi'lek with the internet issues. Hopefully that doesn't persist.
Yeah, it's really hard to ride when you're Seth Shirley there and you see someone go invisible like that. They can come back at any time. And even as Twi'lek, you're kind of being scared. Twi'lek's going to case that on or that off right there, go off, and still able to remount a little bit ahead of him, but Seth Shirley able to dive up the inside, make the pass. But look at this, Twi'lek making the pass back on the outside. Let's see if he goes high, can cut down and get a good drive through the whoops. He's not able to. Goes a little bit wide and lets him have it. But I love the nice clean racing by both of these two guys here. Only taking the pass when they know they have it made and just really racing each other clean.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Tossed.
I mean, Twi'lek has been part of both different lead battles here tonight, whether it's Vanderbeek or Shirley, but this 250 class is really giving us the goods for some good back and forth racing. I mean, we haven't talked about hardly anybody else in this race because the upfront action has been so good as we crest past the halfway mark, 5 minutes down, 5 minutes plus a lap still to go. Shirley continues to lead, but I feel like Max Twi'lek has been the aggressor in this situation, and it's only a matter of time until he figures out how to get back by. But then the front end tuck right there coming on the start straight. Oh, that could be just enough of the gap that Shirley needs to get away right here.
Yeah, I mean, Twi'lek just has that speed that's kind of go, 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 and it feels like he's pushing the limits every time you see him on the track. And he is, but I mean, he can throw down fast laps, and he was able to throw down a good, consistent, clean race. But I feel like Shirley just brought maybe a little bit more pace that he had kind of besides that first race with Vanderbeek, and he kind of felt like he had to kick it up a notch and maybe just getting a little bit more sketchy here. But yeah, great ride so far. Almost 6 minutes of within 1 second up front. Rogan McIntosh in third, about 5 seconds back, and a kind of big gap back to Matherly and Body Parker, Tanner Thorson, and Holyhead White Drizzle there down in 7th place. So this was really most of the race so far. Got to go back a lot further to kind of find some other close battles here.
Yeah, well, Vanderbeek, he is well down the order. Last time I saw him check in 18th spot, so another flip of the coin. Shirley and Vanderbeek going 1:18, 18-1 between the two of them at the moment. There is McIntosh in third, like you said. Matherly has slotted all the way up into 4th spot, so a good charge for the 25 machine. Recovering from a bad first race, similar to Shirley, not as bad as Shirley, but still not exactly what he wanted, as he and Parker dice back and forth down the start straight here. 25 of Matherly, 32 of Parker. Into the first corner they go. You also have Tanner Thorson just in the background behind these guys, and Jet Holyhead trying to work his way forward still on that number 50 Covenant ride. So the battle's continuing all the way throughout the pack, even though that lead battle was so good. It disperses a little bit, and you go back and find another good battle just like this one as they go back and forth what I believe is for 7th place right now between Holyhead and Thorson as they chase down Bodie Parker on the 32.
Yeah, Holyhead was able to come back from 15th to, I believe, 4th in that first race there, and he is going to make a pass up the inside there. Just nice and clean, better drive through the whoops, and he's going to keep setting his sights in front of him, try to knock off these racers here and keep moving his way up. Trying to lower his, total points here to get a better finish tonight. Holyhead tossing it over the triple, still looking comfortable, and he's got some great speed, but man, it's can he just hold it together? These guys, the gaps are starting to spread out a little bit, and it looks like these guys are pretty well matched on speed. Holyhead doesn't seem to be kind of blazing fast, just kind of slowly picking these guys off one by one as they make mistakes.
Yeah, definitely putting the pressure on Bodie Parker. Lap traffic getting out of the way very nicely right there. Matherly is kind of inching away from this battle, but he's got so much time to try to make up on everybody in front of him. Doesn't really have a rabbit he could chase right now, so it's all just his own doing of putting his laps together. Parker's still fairly close with Holyhead right behind, Thorson, and then McLaughlin also up here as well. So no Maxime Vanderbeek inside of the top 10 still as we move back towards the front. Shirley just got in it with a lap trider, and here comes Twi'lek over top trying to retake the race lead. Ooh. I think he's going to do it unless Shirley can control this inside. Oh, nearly gets into him. Can't triple out of this corner. That's going to cost him a lot of time. It might almost cost him a crash as he nearly goes through the front door.
Yeah, he missed that rhythm section there. It's hard when you're taking the same rhythm section all race long, and then you have to switch it up a little bit. You saw he missed that triple in, but then also kept stacking the rhythm as he was working his way through that. And Twi'lek's always been tagging that, but still able to bring it back together. But Now a nice little comfortable lead over Shirley here, and Chwalik's going to try to do what he tried to do the first time he got in the lead. Puts down some consistent laps, don't make mistakes, and kind of get away from this guy. You're almost 9 minutes into this race here so far, so not too much time left to work with. You just got to put it together and keep putting the hammer down and get another good finish here, and you're going to be well on your way to having a huge lead. Looks like the only other person close is going to be Holyhead, who's would be sitting on a 4-4 here. Other than that, I don't think anyone else is really close to this 2-1 that Chwalik would have here if he finishes and holds on to this lead.
Yeah, definitely setting himself up super good for this final race, but can he hold off the hard charge of Seth Shirley, who has put the hammer back down and is trying to close this gap down? The 38 of Chwalik, the 44 of Shirley. With what we believe is about 2.5 laps to go, these guys might just get back to the flag before the white flag waves based on the similar lap times they have been running. Chwalik into a lap rider, Shirley into a lap rider. They both go down. They're both laying nearly on top of each other in the first rhythm section. Nice. Who gets turned around first? Chwalik gets going first. And McIntosh would have been right there, but he went down in the first corner as well. So Chwalik gets up, still in the race lead, and Shirley has lost a little bit more ground than what he had gained to get to Chwalik in the first place. So finally, Chwalik has a little bit of breathing room to work with, and this will certainly mean that they're going to get the white flag this time by, as 10 minutes has come and gone. White flag about to be out, and Shirley's down at the end of the whoops again.
Yeah, it sucks when you see both riders go down like that, but the only thing that makes it a little bit better, even though Shirley might have lost some time, is the fact that they did get up in the order that I guess they were running before. You have a lap rider go down on a step on, step off like that when you are the leader and you've been taking that line all race. It's really hard to kind of get away from that. So both went down, got up the same way, but look at this. Holyhead into third, and he's going to be pretty close here.
Oh, Chwalik's down.
Chwalik's down, so that's Chwalik all the way back to fourth.
Yeah, because Holyhead went up into second suddenly. Wow, this changes the... And Shirley's down! Shirley's down over the berm right there, going onto the start straightaway. So Jet Holyhead has taken over the race lead on the last lap of this 250 race, and suddenly he's in a great position in terms of the overall standings here to steal this one away going into the final race. Shirley has got to do something to try to keep this from going Holyhead's way here tonight, but right now Jed Holyhead leading with a few turns left to go. You still have Shirley, you still have McIntosh and Chwalik right there behind Bodie Parker bringing up the rear, but it's going to be Jed Holyhead into the final corner and out, and the 50 machine out of Australia takes the win in 250 race 2. Shirley second, Chwalik slips back to third in the end as McIntosh will cross the line in fourth, and Matherly rounds out the top 5. Unbelievable. Bodie Parker loses a couple spots at the end. He'll end up in 6th. Thorson 7th. Pinkerton 8th. McLaughlin 9th. And Gatlin looks like he'll round out the top 10 unless Maxime Vanderbeek can squeak into it on this last lap. Boy, with the shuffling up of things right there at the end, that actually helped out Vanderbeek a ton. But I think it's still going to be Gatlin going into this final corner to hold on to the top 10. Ooh, Vanderbeek down at the end of the whoops. And he's going to lose a spot to Schaefer. Maybe 2 spots. No, he'll hold on for 12th, just barely. So 12th place, 112 now for Vanderbeek. Wow, that went way upside down at the end, and Holyhead squeaks out a victory there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Holyhead just did what he had to do there, and I think if my math's correct, while you were talking, I was checking, I think that's going to leave us with 2 riders with 5 points here. Holyhead with a 4-1 and Chwalik with the 2-3. If things stay the same on cuts, see if that changes anything. But these 2 riders will be tied going into it. And Shirley, man, with that second place, he's still, I think, got 18th place in that first one. So he's going to be at 20 points while your leaders are at 5. So he's going to have a long way from long gap up to those leaders right now going into the 3rd race so far here tonight in this 250 class. Cuts, I think, may have also changed something a little bit there if you want to go through. I saw some numbers jump around.
Oh, yeah. Chwalik goes to 4th. So McIntosh, goes up to 3rd. Chwalik loses a position. Matherly goes from 5th to 6th as Parker jumps to 5th. And then Thorson goes from 7th to 8th as Pinkerton goes from 8th. No, he's still 8th. No, sorry, I got that wrong. Apologies. He's still 7th. And then Pinkerton was 8th. McLaughlin 9th. And Gatlin rounds out the top 10. Schaefer 11th. And he lost a position to Vanderbeek. So Vanderbeek ends up 11th in this one. Oh my gosh, so much shuffling around. Kind of crazy at the end. Jed Holyhead gets the win in race 2 and sets us up for one heck of a finale showdown here in race 3 coming up in just a few minutes. But of course, before that, we have got to race the 450 race number 2 to roll into these third races coming up in just a few moments. Whew! What a finish to that 250 race. Going to be interesting to watch that final one for sure.
Yeah, it seems like that always happens in the second race of the night. So I'm a little bit scared for this 450 race coming right up. Is you think you got it all figured out. You think you got the points kind of where they're going to be, and you can kind of see it trending a certain way. And just like that, a couple little late mistakes, maybe a lapse of judgment, maybe some nerves and the pressure of knowing that you're going into the final moto of the night, leading the points. And, just anything can happen here. So this 450 class is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on, though. I really don't think we need to worry about cracking under pressure for any of our 2 leaders here tonight, though, so far with Carter, Leclerc, and Castellaneta. Those are just kind of seasoned vets that I feel like are super comfortable out there under pressure. But, hey, anything can happen, and especially if someone's up in the mix and they're, say Carter's in 5th place with 2 laps to go, anything could happen, and maybe some of these people aren't as mentally sound as our championship leaders are. So, going to be a fun one here. 450 race 2, get going. And I'm glad that we've seen some really good action here tonight, especially in the 250 class.
Yeah, it's just a quick update on that 250 standings going into the final race. Jet Holyhead is on 5. Max Chwalik is on 6. Maxime Vanderbeek on 12. Ryan Pinkerton on 13. Rogan McIntosh on 15, as is Bodie Parker. Jack Gatland on 17. Braden Tharp on 18. Seth Shirley on 20, and Nathan McLaughlin also on 20. So Shirley right now is tied for 9th going into the last race, while Holyhead has the lead. And it really looks like it's going to boil down to Holyhead versus Twi'lek for the overall win. But Vanderbeek did save himself with that 11th place finish, keeping himself alive, only 7 points back of the lead. And you never know, could put a 7 or an 8 on the board if you're Holyhead and give this thing to Vanderbeek.
Yeah, Vanderbeek's going to be going out there looking for redemption. Just such a bad jump off the gate that he had there, and then got into a couple riders, and it sucks because everyone's kind of funneling in, and it's hard in this game, depending on if people ride first person or whatever, kind of knowing about your surroundings. But he just got thrown onto the ground after winning the first race. It's really not where you want to be, and doesn't put you in a good headspace to be down a third of the way down the start straight going in when you really were looking to win it all. So maybe he can regroup and do kind of what Shirley did and just get out there, get another good start, and kind of put yourself back into the I want to win headspace and just have a great ride. Let's move on over to this, though, 450 class. So we had some great rides by Braden Carter, Tyler Lane, Castellaneta, and Logan Leitzel as well. So a lot of points moving around a little bit there. Alexis Leclerc, I was just kind of doing a long lead into his name. Totally didn't forget what I was talking about, but I feel like we do see a lot of less adversity here, but maybe see if Eaglin can bounce back after having a really difficult ride after the first half of that first 450 race. See if he can bring it back. And I love the guys that have been lining up on the start straight for us every round. I don't know if we can go find that pack of riders there. They've been doing this
wheelies
every round. No, right there. I think, is it Carter? Yeah, they're just the boys hanging out, getting ready. They don't need a sight lap. They already know what to do. Braden just won. He doesn't need to practice.
We talking about practice?
I can practice?
All right, here we go. Carter with the win in the first one, ready to roll it into the second 450 race right now and see what happens rolling into this one. Leclerc down the inside with Leitzel and everybody else. Who's going to get that RaceTractorGaming.com whole shot?
And they're barking. Oh, Leitzel into the gate.
Oh, look at the 93 on the outside. Oh, and that was Hubbard who got the first hole shot going down. Aaron Rockefeller rips RaceTractorGaming.com whole shot into the first corner. Carter and Leclerc quad double down the inside. Leclerc to the lead. Carter to second. Adam Holm also in the mix as Rockefeller goes back and losing more positions. But it is Carter, Leclerc 1-2. Leclerc out front trying to steal this one away from Carter in race 2.
Man, Rockefeller had such a big jump there. I think he tipped over in the first corner and still got up and got the whole shot there. But Leclerc and Carter just insane with these starts, how consistent they can be here and to move their way up quickly into the first 1 and 2 spots here. Leclerc going to try to get some redemption. He wants to go out there and win this race, get away from Carter. He had the chance in the first race for a little bit there, but then wasn't able to keep it all together. So now he's looking for he's got something to prove here. Kind of got to just hit your marks early on and get an early lead over Carter here because Carter is going to be pushing. He wants to win this bad and keep extending his championship lead.
Yeah, Carter's definitely starting to put that early pressure on the 7 machine out front. Is tough look for Rockefeller, whole shot to last. You hate to see it. But Leclerc clean through this first rhythm section. It looks like that on-off quad double is the preferred option for all these guys now, and they seemingly all are getting it consistently at this rate. So now it's up to Carter to try to figure out how to get around Leclerc versus the first race, where it was Leclerc trying to find the optimal lines to get around Carter. This time Carter doing the following. What is he going to learn watching the fast Frenchman of the number 7 machine out front ahead of him? Leclerc is so good in so many different areas of the track, but Carter has just been that little bit better all year long. You think Carter's already got some spots lined up, or is he actually learning these lines right now, trying to figure out where he's got that advantage?
Yeah, I don't know really if their lines are too much different, but maybe it's just looking where the weakness is. Even just seeing that he clipped that triple there. If Carter knows, oh, I've been getting that easy, maybe that's somewhere that you could be keeping an eye out for a mistake. Carter making his own mistake there a little bit as well, clipping that rhythm. But you kind of just keep your eye out for that to see if they're making a mistake somewhere so that you can be ready to kind of make a move. If you stay super close, you don't have to really push for the pass. Just look for one little opening where they lose 1/10 of a second in the rhythm, and that can be the change for everything when you kind of get close. You keep an eye out for those tiny little mistakes and when you can make your move.
And Leclerc going long on that triple. He carried so much momentum in, and somehow Carter is still gaining all the while in every little section that they go through. They have already opened up a huge gap behind them as the front two riders, man, not even anybody in the tunnel just yet, as Luke Sullivan comes across right now in 6 seconds back in third. But you can see the gap established. Nobody was on the screen for a lot of that battle. Carter might be sizing up a move. Triple down the inside. Triple. Let's see if he goes for it. Leclerc defends. So Carter's going to have the optimal line to go around the outside and scrub into this section. Stay a little bit lower. Scrub again. Leclerc trying to defend the inside lines as much as he can. Really blocking those lines. And Carter through the tough blocks a little bit. And making Carter work for it is Leclerc. But I feel like Carter's just got that little bit extra speed in hand. Only feels like a matter of time till he figures something out to get around him.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried too much right now. He just looks so smooth doing all the lines that he's doing, while Leclerc looks like he's pushing a little bit, which, I mean, isn't kind of super common from Alexis Leclerc, but Braden just looks like he's super comfortable on another level. Even if he does finish second, they are tied going in, and he's probably thinking, okay, I'll just put it down in the third race. Look at that, just like that mistake,
Carter
he's
off the bike. Oh, Leclerc slid it out coming out of the start straight, and Carter just trying to avoid it, gets into his rear tire, lays it down, and goes down. And then Sullivan's down after the whoops as well. So Eaglin goes by. Castellaneta on the 12 goes by.
Matthew Cromie right behind him.
Yeah, Matt Cromie.
Wow.
Chrome Dog on the 90 had a rough first main event, but good turnaround right here as he's up into the 6th position. Sullivan right ahead of him now, moves up into 5th. And look at that, Colby Eaglin. We didn't talk much about him at the start of this one, but he's found his way up into 3rd, trying to close the gap down onto Carter as Carter goes back to work on closing up on Leclerc. And is this enough of a gap, do we think, for Leclerc to inch away like Carter did in that first main, or are we going to see this gap come down with Carter and Eaglin both putting in better times behind him?
Yeah, Eaglin, I don't know if Eaglin's going to kind of pull back up on them. He definitely could. I mean, he's great in these Triple Crowns, as we talked about a bunch. But I think Braden Carter, just having a little bit of room between him and Leclerc, might even let him settle down a little bit more and just run his insanely fast pace a little bit easier. Not having to kind of worry about, exactly the reason that he went down was Leclerc making a mistake and him being too close and running into the back of him. So now you can just go in, throw down your fast laps, and I think that'll be back below a second in just a couple laps time. I think Braden Carter, he's 5.5 seconds back. I think there's definitely a chance he can get back up and maybe even try to make a pass before this one is over here. And then Eaglin, I don't know how close he's going to get. He just needs to worry about consistency and either capitalizing on mistakes from the guys ahead of him and just not falling back to the riders behind him.
Let's get a lap time check because these guys all just put in a clean lap last time by. 1 flat 0.6 for Eaglin, 59.9 out of Carter, and a 1 flat 0.4. So a half second gained right there for Carter that lap alone. But it looks like Leclerc's already kind of inched it back out over 6 seconds. So he's even putting a little bit of time on Carter with some of his maneuvers as Eaglin's still trying to close down on Carter from behind that. So our front three definitely putting down a blistering pace and can count out Braden Castellaneta, who had a good first race as well. 1 flat 0.8 is his best lap so far, but a 101.2 last time by. He's still in the mix, and Sullivan as well down in the 101. So everybody in the top 5 putting in good laps as Carter is going to go 1 flat 0.2, 59.9 for Leclerc matches Carter. He goes 0.3 faster that time by, and a 1 flat 0.1 for Eaglin. They're all within just a few tenths of each other. That last time by shows what happens with these guys when they get clean air. They're able to put in those good lap times consistently, and nobody really gaining on anybody. It's all status quo for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, Castaneda, he's just had a great consistent ride here tonight. And Eagland, it's just crazy to see him turn it around. This is what we expected from him in the first race to kind of put him in contention here. Just really had a not like him ride, but able to kind of put it together here. And Braden Carter, yeah, not really. He's gained back a little bit of time, but he lost about a second and a half to Leclerc up front. He must have made a little bit of a mistake, but now got that back down to 5.5 seconds. But Leclerc just putting the hammer down here, and yeah, we might be all tied up going into this if this stays the way it is. But Leclerc hasn't made too many mistakes, but he doesn't look perfect. So he's kind of clipping a lot of things that I don't expect him to be clipping. So that does worry me. Anytime you're letting your suspension kind of get out of whack, that's could be means for one little mistake and could throw you off the bike. So gonna have to keep an eye on him if he can kind of settle down and keep putting these lap times. Look at that, Braden Carter already down to a 4.4 second gap. So he's dropped almost another second within not even or under half a lap, or basically. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Carter definitely putting the pressure on Leclerc to minimize the mistakes, minimize the damage. Leclerc doing a decent job so far, putting his lap times down. There's Carter in second, and then back to Eagland in third. So fairly equidistant between them. Castellaneta still fourth as Sullivan slides the rear end out going to the first corner. He's still in fifth. Checking in with Tyler Lang just behind him in sixth. Lang might take advantage of that mistake and make a pass on Sullivan into the top five if he can on that 5 machine. Squares up going to the Supercross triple. Not quite close enough yet as these guys both just get right up on top of those tables and off. Both of them going a little bit long on the triple as well. Lang, can he get a drive in the whoops? No, so far so good. Sullivan holding steady. Matthias Janis is back here, as is Jacob Hubbard. Caleb Hall, Alec Horn, also having good rides with Chase Blakely. Side by side, Logan Leitzel back here with Caden Speck. Leitzel, remember, he had a good first moto as well because everybody else kind of had late mistakes, and Leitzel was able to get up inside the top 5 as Speck passed him, almost went down. Leitzel passes him back and forth they go. Battles all over the track. It doesn't just happen up front, people. But we will slide our way back towards the front and see if we see anything good, like perhaps Braden Carter going down. Castellaneta has gotten around, as has Colby Eagland. So now Leclerc has a rather sizable margin, 10.8 second advantage coming up here with just over 3 minutes and a lap still to go. And Leclerc suddenly in total control of this race with, that is more riders going down in the background. And Carter's going to try to close that gap down on his teammate Castellaneta as they go through the whoops.
Man, Carter just must have been a big mistake there. Sucks when we miss those, but it's hard to keep an eye on everyone with only the one camera. But, man, losing those are very important spots when you went 1-2 with your teammate in the first race, and then now you're dropping back super far. So, man, just a little uncharacteristic of Braden Carter. But like you said, at least this is a 3-race format here tonight. And he can have one bad race, and he's not going to lose too much as far as the championship goes. I don't see him too worried about it. Really want to point out just great ride by Castellaneta and Tyler Lang, man. I don't know what's up with his late race charges, but that first race seemed like it came out of nowhere, worked his way up into around the top 5, and he did it again this race. Kind of wasn't seeing him do anything.
Oh, that was a little overzealous right there for Carter. He went way fast onto that table. I thought he was going to back out of the challenge because he's basically starting to jump under Castellaneta already, and instead jumps right under him anyway and goes down. So Castellaneta and Carter getting into each other as teammates allowed T-Lang through as Eagland opens up a huge advantage on both of them. And Leclerc is still just in cruise control out front. Now this is the opportunity for Leclerc to sit back, maybe put it down a gear, just finish this thing off, not go down. You got 2 minutes and a lap still to work with, a 10-second gap on Eagland. And right now, Carter's starting to shoot himself in the foot a little bit and give Leclerc this opportunity to gain some points in this title hunt.
Yeah, I mean, every little mistake he makes is just points going to Leclerc. But at least, like you said, it's not losing him in a full main event. So all he's really got to do is kind of settle in, take a top 5, and then kind of come back out for the first or for this third and final race here tonight and try to limit the damage here. But Leclerc, man, with a great showing, a couple mistakes in that first race, but this race he's just been wire to wire, not really making any mistakes and able to avoid mistakes by everyone else as well. We do have a huge package. He's coming
some
up
lapped riders.
Holman Lights over there. Oh, 3 of them.
Wow. They all just kind of plowed into each other. There's a huge pile up in the last corner, 4 riders down. Leclerc ended up hitting them, and they're just now all getting up as Eagland enters the fray. He's trying to get around. That's Leitzel. Adam Holm was also in the mix, trying to keep tabs on all these other numbers that were up there. Trying to see. 73 of Brandon Larson also was one of the riders involved. but Eaglin able to skirt through as Leclerc continues to lead, but that gap did go down a little bit, down to 7.5 seconds. So now you're in the range, if you're Leclerc, where the fall-off crash would give Eaglin the race lead. And gosh, we know how good Eaglin is late in these Triple Crowns. And then as I say that, he goes down and takes Logan Leitzel with him. Leitzel down off the bike as Eaglin stays up. Carter back into third now. Did get around Tyler Lang, so Lang behind him in fourth. And Castellaneta slots back into fifth. So he was the rider actually who was third and went back to fifth right there. Still close to these guys, but now Carter trying to inch away from this group.
Yeah, Carter just needs to kind of settle down, take a deep breath, and get away from all the carnage here, because you don't want to keep getting caught up into it and moving back and back and back. Tyler Lang, though, man, he's been just, like I said, a late race or a...
Carter's down.
Whoops, we don't see that happen often. So Lang's going to go by, Leitzel's going to go by, Castellaneta is going to go by, and the one other rider, I didn't catch his number, but just like that, 4 riders go by. Jacob Hubbard now coming right up on him, and this race is kind of falling apart for Braden Carter. He is so lucky this is a Triple Crown, because if he went from first to 8th, 9th, he's only in 5th, really? Oh my God, dude, you're so fast. I thought you would be in 10th by now. It's just so many people seem to be passing him, but...
Well, he did go... A lot of lapped riders were involved because that huge gaggle of riders that were down before the finish line jump. So, yeah, Carter getting kind of saved by the fact that there were so many lappers involved, and he's actually going to get a spot right there on T-Lang, I think. No, that is not T-Lang down. Sorry. That was Leitzel that was down. It does look a little bit similar to me. But Carter still in P5 as the white flag waves out front. Our leader, Leclerc, checks in on the 7. Looking to get this dub here in race 2 and roll into race 3 with the advantage in the points scenario with a 2-1. Colby Eaglin with that 7th in the first race is really hurting his chance at winning the overall here tonight, but doing the best he can with a potential 2nd place result in this one to maybe inch up, still end up on the podium for sure, and maybe steal a 2nd place away from Carter or anybody else up there. T-Lang also in the mix as Castellaneta chases him down. And then, of course, Carter, who was just down with all those guys back there. So can Castellaneta get Lang on the final lap would probably be the only question to remain about the top 5. But Lang looks like he's inching away a little bit here.
Yeah, Lang just kind of cruising. He's just seems to be settling in, not having the best starts, but just able to throw it down consistently. Got that veteran experience there, keeping smooth rides. But, man, Colby Eaglin, such a good ride by him. But still nothing for Alexis Leclerc as we come around the white flag. Alexis Leclerc is going to take it. Race 2 by a commanding about 13 seconds. Go back, look at Eaglin. A great comeback ride here. Not going to be enough in points, but he is going to move up a little bit closer to the podium overall conversation. He comes across 2nd. And in 3rd place, Tyler Lang, after a great ride. Consistency is key. Look at this. Coming across 3rd place right in front of Braden Castellaneta. And now Braden Carter coming across finally in 5th. Huge gap back to Janice in 6th. He is battling right now with Logan Leitzel.
Yeah, Leitzel a lap down though. So Janice has 6th.
They're lap down.
All to himself. Sullivan's going to end up 7th, and then the battle royale of the flag here is Hubbard trying to hold off his teammate Caleb Hall. Good fight to the end between those two. It will be Hubbard over Hall. And then rounding out the top 10, it's Phil's everywhere right now. Alec Horn also going to stamp his authority into the top 10. Chase Blakely, last rider on the lead lap in 11th. Butigny already finished. Cromie, Rockefeller, Speck, Seberg, Holm, Larson, Leitzel, Holiak, Heilman was your running order in this one. Taking a look at cuts and seeing if anything changed in our top 10. No, it's all good there. Yeah, no, it just all kind of blends together for sure. But it looks like everything stayed the same as Leclerc gets it done in race 2. He'll roll into race 3 with the advantage on 3 points, whereas Carter is now sitting on 6 points. Lang a little bit further back on 8 points. And then I think you also probably have to factor in Eaglin on 9 points as well with the 7-2. So any one of those guys probably still has a shot at this win, but it comes down to the final race and whether or not they can turn the tide around on Alexis Leclerc, who has been solid at the front in both races so far. A 2-1 rolling into race 3 for the 7.
Yeah, great ride by him and Castellaneta, awesome as well. Janice too, after good kind of repeat rides, keeping themselves up towards that top 5 here. But Leclerc really got a gift right there for at least this overall, but we're going to have to see if Carter can kind of bring it back, take a deep breath, settle down, kind of like how Seth Shirley did in our second 250 race. Just got to bring it back together, and just like that, this 250 race is going to be super tight. Chwalik losing that spot on cuts right there, though. It's still going to be it'll still be with a 1 point gap. Whoever wins, right, out of our 250 riders, Holyhead and Twalik should be able to take it.
Yeah, they got 7 points on Vanderbeek, so it's 5, 6, 12. Holyhead, Twalik, Vanderbeek, Pinkerton on 13, and McIntosh and Parker both on 15 points. So that's your top 6 right there. Seth Shirley on 20 points, trying to knock off McIntosh, Parker, Gatland, everybody else just ahead of him to try to get some points back. But right now, as it stands, I mean, Holyhead with a 1 versus a 9 out of Shirley, that could really turn the tides in this championship. If it somehow stays in that realm, if Shirley has another bad race and Holyhead can win this thing here tonight, that'd be a huge dent for the number 44 JIBR.co number red plate holder out of Seth Shirley there.
Yeah, Shirley definitely needs to get at least up into the top 5, not to lose too many points here tonight. So, yeah, it's not even 9 points separating them. It's first and ninth would be the overall that they're at right now. So we really need that, or Shirley really needs that to come down. That's a huge chunk of points that Holyhead is hoping for because this championship is so short. It's only getting longer. Shirley needs to stop the bleeding right now in this third 250 main event tonight, or else it could be disaster for him. So that's going to probably be our main storyline, not only with Holyhead and Twalik battling out 1 point apart as we go into this final race, but what can Seth Shirley do to stop the bleeding? It's going to be interesting to find out what happens here when the gates dropping soon.
250 race 3 coming up here at Glendale, round 12 of the MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross put on by Race Factor Gaming and Init Esports. This is a professional MX simulator racing competition that has been going on for about 14 years. It's crazy to see how much it's progressed and how much it's changed over the years, but still a lot of fun every time we go racing. I don't think anybody that was there for the first racing back in 2010 is still here, but it's a couple of veterans that are still around that were back in around 11 and 12, still out there racing, but mostly a bunch of fresh faces that, quite honestly, there's people that are racing this series now that were not even born, which is crazy to think about when this championship started.
Yeah.
I can't even believe that. I don't even want to think about that.
You're old.
Ah, I know, just turned 30. I'm super old.
Dirty 30, baby.
Dirty 30.
It was a dirty one. Man, look at White Drizzle. He's got that Tomasunis look with all that all-white gear. I love it. So clean. You know what I was thinking? Tomasunis needs to send us a jersey here in studio because I just see his Instagram pictures and stuff in the snow with the all-white bike, and I'm just like, God. I'm just like, Kiefer, man. You give me an all-white gear set, and I'm just super stoked on it.
Lit kit.
Yeah, lit kit for sure. Holyhead. Let's do a little lit. Oh, we'll do it for the 450s.
No.
We'll go through and we'll get a lit kit check if we can remember. But right now, it is all about this action right here. What can Seth Shirley do? Can Holyhead hold on and beat Twalik, or can Twalik take it away and get the dub here tonight? Let's find out as we go racing here in the 250 class, main event number 3.
Yeah, final race of the night. Get your revs up and get ready to drop that gate. Who's going to win in Glendale? Let's find out. Shirley up the inside with a great start, controls it into the first corner. Can he get the whole shot, or will it be Tharp? It's Tharp by a nose, but Shirley with the on-off triple line might be able to take the race lead. No, Tharp holds it into the second corner. Shirley's trying not to get landed on. He gets teed up, actually. Vanderbeek down the inside, takes a couple guys with him, and Jed Holyhead comes through in third. Wow, that's a huge blow for Seth Shirley in this one, as he's going to come from way back.
Yeah, Seth Shirley needs to be able to regroup quick and just not let that bother him. Just start ticking guys off at like I can't even talk. Checking boxes here as he's ticking guys off, moving his way up through the pack. Holyhead with a great start, exactly what he needed. Shirley back in 12th right now. Twalik, though, back behind him. Tharp with a good start. He's had a couple good finishes here tonight. Not completely kind of battling for the win here tonight, but a great start by him. He's up there, just needs to get it together. And Vanderbeek, after a great first ride, a horrible second ride, he's trying to pull it back again and get another win. I think Tharp needs to watch out because Vanderbeek and Holyhead have the speed. So Tharp needs to get going or he's going to have some company here soon.
Well, I mean, this is crazy to think about where it's at for Vanderbeek because as it currently sits, he's in a great position to maybe steal this win away with Shirley, Twalik all the way back there. Of course, Holyhead is still right in the mix up here at the front, so Holyhead would need to go down to allow Vanderbeek to win, but Vanderbeek putting himself up front in this first and third race has given himself at least the opportunity to try to win this thing as it stands, though, Holyhead is definitely in a position to win as he goes off the track and somehow doesn't go down. Matherly did go down as he was trying to make the pass, and he's going to get passed by a lot of riders as everybody goes around him in the whoops. So that shows you what would have happened had Holyhead gone down. Instead, he stays up and continues on in the third spot as Matherly cuts back up on the inside of Sam Weigman. Great move out of the 25 machine right there. Let's go back to our championship leader, Seth Shirley. He's outside of the top 10 early on after that second turn crash. Almost got the whole shot. Momentarily was going for the race lead. Now he finds himself down in 14th place, and he has a lot of work to do there to try to make some points back up, especially Jet Holyhead near the front of this thing.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for him tonight. This is kind of the position he was in the first race, and he wasn't able to bring it back and kind of move his way up through the field. Second race got a great start and was able to stay up there, but so we'll see. Maybe he's having trouble working his way through the pack, especially on this track here tonight. Maybe his rhythms, or he's not able to find the passing spots, and these guys taking so many different lines, so much speed. Look at that, made a pass on Body Parker. Yeah, Briscoe gets wild. He gets wild again, and look at that, just narrowly misses those two riders. So he's going to move past another two riders, but that's the stuff you're dealing with when you're this far back, and the guys up front don't have to worry about it. He almost goes down by himself as Body Parker just completely explodes. So
wow.
3 passes there that we saw, but narrowly avoiding death in all of them, and the riders up front are just chilling.
Another crash out of Sam Weigman. Shirley goes from 13th to 9th based on sole crashes alone. Gatland up into 8th. Schaefer is 7th. Tanner Thorson in 6th. Cade Matherly in 5th. Yeah, Rogan McIntosh is 4th. Sam Sorensen up here is in 3rd place as Jed Holyhead has moved into 2nd, or 3rd, I should say. And Vanderbeek still 2nd, chasing down Braden Tharp for the race lead. So lead battle starting to heat up a little bit. Holyhead, I think, is actually just content at this point in time to try to hold on to his 3rd position because it's a great spot to try to win the race from. But Vanderbeek wants everything he can handle out front. He's going after Tharp for the race lead, and Tharp is going to try to keep that 29 machine behind him if he can. Great action up front here in this final race.
Yeah, Vanderbeek with 14 points now, he'd still end up 3rd. A win wouldn't change much, but it's a statement ride for him. And also he's able to, if he's able to get into the first place position, he then controls the race, and whoever else is behind him, they can start making mistakes, but he's put himself in the best possible position to earn points here and get a better overall finish here tonight. So he's going to keep working his way up here. We're only 4 minutes and 20 seconds into this race so far. Vanderbeek just still pushing, unable to get the big rhythm there that the 450 guys are getting, but still looking pretty good up here. But Tharp has had a couple great rides here tonight, just unable to get the start, and he finally does. So we'll see if he actually does have the speed to hold on to Vanderbeek. Going to be interesting to see as we kind of keep watching. 1.1 seconds now down to 0.7 seconds after that riding through the whoops.
Uptime check, 101.9, 102.2, so matching each other, only 0.3 in it between the two of them. Man, Vanderbeek would love to take another race win as Holyhead continues to hold on to 3rd. Matherly's moved up to 4th ahead of Austin Schaefer as Sam Sorensen went down. He's back to 6th. Jack Gatlin's 7th, and Seth Shirley has climbed all the way up into 8th spot now, so great recovery. Max Chwalik still in 15th place. Chwalik is having a horrible final race that is really killing his chances at winning this thing overall as we shuffle the points around a little bit, and Shirley is trying to make some passes here. Jack Gatlin just ahead of him. Sam Sorensen gonna see if he can figure out a way to make it around. Both of these guys get some more points in his favor as we have a change up front. Tharp went down, and Vanderbeek is taking over the race lead, so Vanderbeek out front. Holyhead up into 2nd, and Tharp slips back to 3rd.
Yeah, just like that. Holyhead got a weird little seat bounce there. But these guys moving forward without even having to make the passes themselves, you get little mistakes from these guys. Vanderbeek just had himself in the right position. Holyhead as well, though. Holyhead needs to start barking and get as many. No, he doesn't really have to do anything, actually, because he's just completely in the lead. Forgot about the points. Basically finished within 4 spots of Vanderbeek, probably, and you'll be good. But just like that, Ryder's going down over the tunnel, able to avoid him. And, man, just keep yourself in 2nd or in this 1st place with this overall here, and hope to God that Seth Shirley cannot keep working his way through the field and you get as much help as possible here in this championship fight. But Seth Shirley,
Holyhead's down. He's down with a lapped rider.
Tharp into him as well.
Yeah, Tharp is stuck on these guys. I don't think they lost a position. They did not. Vanderbeek still leads Holyhead is still second, Tharp third, but all these guys have closed up. Here's Schaefer, Matherly, Gatlin, Shirley, McIntosh at the back of this group. So that just allows Shirley more opportunities to try to gain some advantages towards Jet Holyhead. Holyhead is still in position to win this thing, and Shirley, as it runs, is in a tie for 7th overall. Actually, now slips back to 8th overall. So Shirley is way back in the overall standings. Needs to gain some more positions here to really help his case out. And as he gets sideways in the whoops, trying to avoid a lapped rider, another rider goes down. That's the 57 of Gatland off the inside of the track. So Shirley gains another position. As Schaefer was going sideways through the whoops, Shirley is trying to make a pass around him. And this is getting real tight and topsy in this middle of the pack kind of group battling for positions. And right now, Holyhead is in position to win this overall quite easily, but it could all change up behind him with all this stuff going on.
Yeah, Jack Allen is one of those guys that is up ahead of Seth Shirley. He's bouncing back between that 7th and 8th, back and forth between 7th and 8th overall here tonight, kind of depending on where he finishes and where the points are. So really, these guys, they need to just worry about pray that Austin Schaefer and these other guys here don't let him keep making moves. Seth Shirley up to 6th place, and he can't keep getting points or else that's just going to eat away at Holyhead's lead. I don't know if he can get too far down in the overall points tonight, even if he got up to about 2nd or 3rd place, what that would exactly do for us here tonight. Sorry, 1 second. Kellen, we're repositioning. I was like, the race is gone and the points are gone. I don't know what to do. We're repositioning so we can check a little bit easier our overalls here with our live updates. Austin Schaefer, though, still able to hold off of Shirley. And Shirley, man, just a little out of character for him here tonight after seemingly dominating most of this championship. Man, what a huge lead, too. Holyhead is 11 seconds back. So really the Seth Shirley race, him and how far can he get up there, is pretty much everything we need to watch here, unless Holyhead makes a mistake. He's not too far up in 2nd place, only about 8 seconds maybe.
Yeah, not too far ahead of Seth Shirley. This battle is still pretty tight together. So here's Holyhead on the on-offs. He has got Tharp right behind him, so this is actually a good little battle for 2nd brewing, as Vanderbeek has snuck away with this race lead at this point in time. Tharp trying to get back around. Holyhead swapping through the whoops. They both got a little bit sideways. Nice save by both riders to continue going. Down in the background, another rider that was a lap down, so Matherly going to go around him. And Shirley has gotten around all of those guys. He's up into 5th. So Seth Shirley doing a great job to salvage some more points right here. This is certainly going to help his case, trying to leapfrog Gatlin, McIntosh, Matherly, all those other guys that he's so close together with in points. And this is really going to hurt Jet Holyhead, who is hoping Schaefer, Sorensen, Gatlin, and potentially McIntosh and a couple other guys could get in there and make things worse for Seth Shirley. But right now, doing a great job of salvaging those points as he moves up into the top 5.
Yeah, it's crazy if you look at those overall points. Oh, he's going to get into a lapper. Doesn't go down.
Oh,
yes,
no,
he does. Oh, my God. Got squirrely. Couldn't break. So that's going to lose him a couple more positions. And the thing, if you look at the points, Kellen, I think he's around 25, 26, which puts him in 5th overall. But there are some riders down below him that actually are around the 10th, 11th place position that if they improve their scores can keep knocking Shirley down, because they had 2 strong finishes in the first 2 races. So Seth Shirley's not even completely in control of his own destiny. And then when you go ahead and you make a mistake like that with a lapper, you're really hurting yourself a little bit more.
Oh, just slid into that corner.
Yeah, is he unraveling here?
Yeah, white flag has come out, by the way, as we have crested into the final stanza of this race, and Shirley is trying to remount an attack on Cade Matherly, who just checked in ahead of him. It is still a close battle for 2nd, with Tharp putting the pressure on Holyhead. Maxime Vanderbeek has this thing all but one out front. He's got to get through the whoops one more time. 9-second gap over Holyhead, but a great ride. He's going to really lament that 11th in the middle race, because he had a shot to win all 3 races here tonight. But the middle race was a horrendous ride for Vanderbeek after a bad start. 2 good starts end up in 2 wins at the end of the evening here for Vanderbeek, and it should eventually result in a 2nd place finish as he's through the whoops on the final lap. He's going to wheelie under the tunnel into the final corner. Maxime Vanderbeek wins race number 3 of the Triple Crown in Glendale, but the man of the night in his 2nd win of the season, it's going to be White Drizzle getting it done here in Glendale. Jet Holyhead takes the win here tonight at the Triple Crown.
Awesome ride. Braden Tharp with a good third
Oh,
moto
Shirley
here.
got into fourth. He got around Matherly. That's huge late in this thing, as Shirley's going to gain an advantage to try to get into the top 5 overall. He will cross the line in fourth. Matherly right behind him. Schaefer, Sorensen, they all were right there as well. And then Gatlin back here with McIntosh, Thorson, Bodie Parker, Hayden Stevenson. Everybody's still coming to the line as Sam Weigman battling it out right there with Frank Jackson. So they have still got a good battle going. But man, Shirley, what a recovery to get into fourth in this one. And he may have spared himself a top 5 overall here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like that may be what happened here. Just a great recovery, a couple of recovery rides by him, battling some adversity, but able to make it all, bring it all together when it counts. We saw him as far back as 9th or 10th place overall here at times during that race, which would have been a huge hit in the championship points. Yeah, you're going to lose a close to 10 position or 10 points getting 5th place. First to 5th place, losing it to Holyhead, but man, that's so much better than finishing 9th place overall. Holyhead wasn't able to get the win over Vander Bark here in this 3rd race, but he is going to get the overall here. And what a just great ride by him. Consistency is key in these races, and he was able to kind of put it together when it counted.
So tentatively speaking, unofficial results being calculated, it looks to be a podium of Jet Holyhead, Maxime Vanderbeek, and Max Chwalik, who just barely
14.
held on over Tharp, who finished up in 3rd in that one. 7, 13, 20 is your podium. 21 for Tharp in 4th, and 24 for Shirley rounds out the top 5. So right there alone is a 8-point swing in this championship, I believe. 26 down to 18 for 5th. So yeah, 8-point swing. That is going to bring it down to 10 points between Shirley and Holyhead moving into the final 3 rounds of their 250 West battle. That is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Of course, we'll wait for official results to come in before you give you guys a full update on where everybody finished. But what a crazy end to this one here tonight in Glendale. Jet Holyhead gets the win. And now we've got an interesting championship table in this 250 West class.
Yeah, that's going to bring the points down a lot from where they were, and just really going to make, I feel like, give some confidence to Holyhead, and also, might not completely scare, but really put some pressure on Shirley. He was kind of running away with the championship lead, and now all these races down to the wire are going to matter a lot more. So going to be interesting to see how we get as we move into not only the last final races of the season, but we do have some shootouts too, which are going to be some big points for guys to it's going to be interesting. They're going to be racing riders that they haven't raced all year, as well as getting some other guys in between, and maybe some huge point swings in these 250 classes. So looking forward to those a lot, actually.
By the way, it looks like after official results have been calculated, McIntosh actually lost a position on cuts that we did not see. So he ends up in a tie with Shirley, and Shirley has the better final race, which means Shirley gets 4th overall. He'll earn 19 points, which is only a 7-point loss, of course, to Jet Holyhead's 26 that he earns for winning the race. So that is now an 11-point championship difference between the two of them. Shirley still maintains that red plate. And the next time we will see those guys is actually at the East-West Showdown, I believe, at East Rutherford for round 15 before they race again at Denver, and then another East-West Showdown at Salt Lake City in the finale. So they go into a little bit of a break right now, and Holyhead going in with the momentum into that one. 2 East-West Showdowns and a regular round still to go. Anything could happen with only 11 points between those two guys.
Yeah, those shootouts are going to be the ones to keep an eye on, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a million times, because that's when these championship battles down to the wire really matter. It's crazy. I feel like it's been so long till we've had one, but this late in the season just makes them matter that much more. If we're seeing them as these championship battles are starting to tighten up, it really feels like they matter so much. So going to be really, really interesting when we get to those weeks and we see whatever carnage those bring. And there's going to be a lot of math going on there and a lot of championship shakeups. I can already tell. As Caleb Hall and Tyler Lang are starting our little lineup here at the end of the start straight. We'll see if any more riders kind of come and join them. Looks like Braden Carter just missed, and maybe we got some people coming to join them here.
Remember the old days when you used to try to shove people into the stadium walls and warm up?
Oh yeah, I remember the worst one was Phoenix when we were at Chase Field at or was that what the field used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. So when we be in Phoenix, and there was this big wall that was behind the start straight. It was 2012 or 2013, and if you ran people into that in the start structure,
Crash their game.
they'd get disconnected. You hope, and especially me, I wasn't that good. I wanted to get more spots in the main event. So if you missed UID grab, but I would spend about an hour before the race just in there hitting people wide open, trying to get their game to crash. I would take every little position I could, but some of those stadiums just had different collisions. Also doing wall rides going around, just fifth wide. The good old days of MXN before we had all these see-through stadiums that you can't crash into. This is what we used to have to deal with, getting home from school or work and connecting to the server 3 hours ahead and just praying someone didn't disconnect your game by throwing you into a wall.
Yep.
It was normally me, though. So.
All right, here we go. Final race of the night.
Woo!
450 overall win is on the line. Alexis Leclerc on 3, Carter on 6, Castellaneta on 7. Who's going to win the overall here tonight in Glendale? Triple Crown Racing. Let's get it. Into the first corner, Hubbard down the inside is going to get the whole shot as he controls it to the inside. Jacob Hubbard rips the whole shot on the 78. Eaglin right there in second with a good start. Is that Chrome Dog there in third as well? The 90, he goes down. He caused a little bit of a stack up. Lang, I think, got through with Leclerc, trying to see where the one of Carter ended up, as Eaglin's already trying to go to the race lead down the inside of Hubbard. Into the whoops they go. I see the red plate in the background at about 7th spot, right behind Leclerc as they cut across the start straight. Hubbard, Eaglin leading the field through on the first lap.
Yeah, Hubbard, just an insane starter. He always seems to be up there, if not getting the whole shot. Should have made some whole shot picks here tonight because he's just kind of a given, especially at the Triple Crown here. He would be a great fantasy FFL to have. Look at these guys. He's just tossing it too. He feels good. He's so far upside down and backwards. He could see everyone behind him there. Jacob Hubbard, though, look at this train as you see the other guys coming through the rhythm section behind him. Tyler Lang second or in third place now. Brandon Larson up there with another good start. Rockefeller, Castellaneta changing gear. Alexis Leclerc, Luke Sullivan, a rider going down. John Heilman, Logan Leitzel, Alec Horn, and Braden Carter must have gone down a bit. So there he is, finally getting past Boutigny. Watch out for him when he's behind you. He's been a little spicy tonight. But man, Braden Carter had a decent start, and look at that one mistake, 2 mistakes,
down again,
and he's down. Oh, it's
he might be about dead last once this all gets going again. Well, he's gonna be helped by one of the riders going down, so he's gonna have 4 riders still behind him, but he's got a huge haul to get ahead of all these guys. Remember, it's a 24-point lead that he came into this round with. And another thing to consider is everybody was so close behind him going into this final race. Even though he was in second, he was only 1 to 2 points ahead of basically back to about 5th or 6th. So he could lose a lot of points right here if Leclerc goes out and wins this overall where things are sitting. We'll have to see how much Leclerc can make up because he's not in a good position either right now. But if Leclerc wins this overall tonight, that could be a huge blow for Carter, who's had a rough go right here. Leclerc has to check up. How did Castellaneta ride out of that? And then a huge pile up going off the berm in the background.
Oh my God, they're all dead.
Wow, that is going to help out Carter a ton to get back in the mix of this group, as Rockefeller was down, the 43 of Heilman down, the 3 of Leitzel also down, Matthias Janis down. Everybody all getting sideways going through that straightaway. Jacob Hubbard down. He was up front, so no one wants to stay on 2 wheels right now. Eaglin to the lead, Lang to second, and Leclerc up into third. Yeah, man, just so much carnage there, and that's all that's helping is Braden Carter, who's back in 14th place. That's pushing him further back to him. So no matter what Leclerc does up here, every position Carter makes up is going to help him with the Olympic scoring. The 6 easy passes way back there is going to mean a lot more than the 1 or 2 that maybe Leclerc is able to get towards the front of this field. But right now, Colby Eaglin with the commanding lead. Tyler Lang trying to chase back, and then 4.5 seconds back all the way to Leclerc. So these guys, but a lot of riders, as you see scrolling across the top of the screen in between Braden Carter here. It's going to be interesting when we start to get some points updates and see kind of where everyone stands in this field. But Eaglin taking advantage of a great start and just kind of trying to ride a smooth race and get himself a good result here, even though he had a couple of rough rounds or rides so far tonight. Yeah, so Carter is down in 13th place as they run. Not as bad as it could have been with those early crashes. And he's actually only a couple sections behind our race leaders, so you still have a lot of opportunity in this race with about 8 minutes and a lap left in this race to try to gain some advantages back. Early updates on the overalls. Looks like Carter's down into 5th. Leclerc is obviously winning on a 2-1-3. Eaglin and Lang will be 2nd and 3rd overall as we run. So Eaglin doing everything he can to try to claw this back away from Leclerc if Leclerc makes some late mistakes. And Eaglin can claim the Triple Crown God of the Year award if he wins all 3 of them. Lang still 2nd. There's Leclerc in 3rd. Hubbard back into 4th. Castellaneta is 5th. Sullivan up into 6th as Leitzel crosses over here in 7th. Buttigny 8th. Janice 9th. And now Carter up inside of the top 10 as he's moved his way forward around a few more guys.
Yeah, just really uncharacteristic of Braden Carter with the amount of mistakes we've seen out of him here tonight. Maybe he just wasn't gelling with the track all night. It's pretty jumpy, but he normally does pretty fine with that. But I feel like once you get your flow kind of starts to get off and you have to go out and compete with all the best guys 3 times in a row, maybe just got in his head a little bit here. But man, if you're having one of your worst nights and you're finishing around 5th or 6th or 7th, in the overall, that's not too bad of a night, especially with the points lead that he does have on Leclerc. He can afford to give up a couple points with the amount of races that we have left. I'm not too worried about him as long as he keeps it together and he doesn't just start kind of going backwards in this one like he did in our second race.
Yeah, it looks like
keep an eye on him.
Well, he's definitely figured out a little bit more of a flow than he had early on. He hasn't been making those early mistakes anymore. Matthias Janis ahead of him. Buttigny, as we already mentioned. Leitzel, Castellaneta, Sullivan, Hubbard up front. Leclerc's still in 3rd all by himself, and it's really kind of a 3-rider train that's broken away from Hubbard at the front as Hubbard's still dealing with pressure from Sullivan. There's Castellaneta now dealing with pressure from Leitzel. So Leitzel, another rider who will lament his middle race here tonight because he's been very fast here tonight, but just did not get off the gate well in the middle one. And is now going to pass Castellaneta down the inside into this corner right here to move into that top 5 position. Leitzel doing a tremendous job to recover well. Looks like he could still have an opportunity at a top 10 overall. But yeah, that rough 19th place finish in the middle really hurting the number 3 machine right now as he gets away because Castellaneta went down. That's going to give Carter another position. He moves up into 9th. Castellaneta back into 10th.
Yeah, so I couldn't even Castellaneta has changed gear every single one of these races so far tonight, which I like maybe the realism of it, but it keeps throwing me off when I see a Yamaha with a different bright set of gear that he's had on. So I did see him go down, just didn't really notice it was him. But Braden Carter, man, just slowly and surely working his way up through the field a little bit here. These guys aren't too far ahead of him, so he could keep knocking on the door and knocking some points off these guys. Colby Eaglin, that gap ahead, not really changing anything with the lead. Leclerc gaining a little bit of time. He was 5 seconds. Now he's 3 seconds down off the lead.
Starting to get spicy up here a little bit. I feel like Lang is inched up on Eaglin and Leclerc has caught them both. So this is going to get into a nice little battle for the lead here into the second half of this race. By the way, quick update. With Castellaneta going down, Carter leapfrogged his teammate to move up to 4th overall. He is still 5 points back of T-Lang as it runs with Lang up in 2nd. Carter needing to make up quite a bit more positions to help his case, or perhaps Lang could lose those positions. So maybe Carter still gets on the box when all is said and done. But right now, the one to watch for sure is this battle starting to brew up front. Eaglin, Lang, Leclerc separated by just 3 seconds between the 3 of them. And Leclerc looks to be the one that is the aggressor in this group. 59.9 last time by.
Yeah, he's just pushing. He knows that he's got the speed. All he has to do is sit behind these guys, run some lap times. Lang goes down there. I was going to say if Lang caught him, that was going to be the 2nd overall position, but now Leclerc gets him, so that's going to even extend his lead in the points. And Lang going down, that might actually let Carter kind of start sneaking up a little bit closer there, and that might switch up the overall, depending on how many positions he lost. Now we got Luke Sullivan here trying to push up towards the front here. Got some competition and some Jacob Hubbard, that great starter, able to finally put it back together after having a little bit of a rough start here. So now this is your 3-4-5 battle here. Hubbard, Sullivan, and Lang. And these guys are all super close here. Pretty similar in speed as well. We've seen them kind of battle all night tonight. Yeah,
this is now your battle for 3rd place right here on stream. Jacob Hubbard leading this little group right here with Sullivan right behind him. Oh, Sullivan down. Case the triple immediately legs off crash. So that's going to cost him a couple positions because there goes Leitzel and he's getting turned around just in front of Buttigny. Risky move right there. And Carter down the inside of Sullivan is also going to make a move up into, I believe, 8th position, or 7th, excuse me. So now he's trying to catch up. Buttigny is in 6th. Leitzel is in 5th. Lang is in 4th. Hubbard is in 3rd. And Leclerc is in second. I thought that was maybe Leclerc going down with so many Phil's Yamahas. It's very confusing sometimes. But Leclerc had a bad lap this time. He was only 3 seconds off of our lead, Eagland, who did a 1 flat 0.7. Curious what Leclerc puts down right here, because this is not a good lap for him. Yeah, 103.1. So a slide out or something somewhere for the number 7 machine cost him some time. Back to another battle that we see here. Butigny versus Carter. Wow, Carter just flying down the inside. Passes Butigny. That is going to move him up into 6th position. And I think he'll be in a position now where he'll just have passed Lang overall into 3rd place with that move as well.
That's crazy. Lang was tied for that 2nd place. Well, he had it with the tiebreaker, and then one little fall is going to completely change everything tonight. With Braden Carter kind of able to get it back together and keep knocking some guys off, and he can keep working his way up there. If he gets a couple more spots, Eagland can't, once you're already winning, you can't get any more. So if Braden Carter is in control here to kind of take away some positions and bring this thing down to a 2nd place overall on the night, and that's really hurting Leclerc, who's pumped that he's winning the overall, but not if Braden Carter ends up salvaging this and getting 2nd after such an eventful night here. It's really interesting. He's just pushing and flowing, man. He doesn't even look like he's trying. He looks like he's figured out this track, made a couple mistakes in the earlier races as well as early in this one, but now looks like he's settled down and just kind of figured it out. Maybe just more time on the track, and he's showing us his championship ways. 59.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think he's figuring out the track.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
He's looking pretty good right now as he closes that gap down to Logan Leitzel, which would be for 5th place. And quick correction, he and Lang are actually tied, so Lang still does have the tiebreaker because he's ahead of him in 4th. But Carter, if he gets around Leitzel right here, that would move him back onto the podium overall in 3rd place, and he'd only be 2 points behind Eagland overall as well. So there's a chance he still somehow gets 2nd overall when this is all said and done, as he closes that gap down on Leitzel in this battle for 5th place on the track. But it's really for 3rd place on the box, whether or not he can get this done, close this deal down. He's trying to make it work as he scrubs into that corner, laying it low on the 1 machine. And Leitzel's just like, man, I'm trying to get away from all this chaos going on behind me. Lang on the 5 right in front of these guys as well, trying to get away from his teammate. Look at Carter so fast through the whoops right there. Let's see if he closes up. Inside line on the roller right here, trying to get a drive over the finish line jump. Almost dualies. Yeah, inside line. Wow, what a pass by Carter. And still busts a triple out of the corner, even though he missed the rut.
Yeah, that triple's gnarly. It's for him to hit it like that, it's just so insane. Just shows you the speed. Some dualies right there as Logan Leitzel's not giving up here. Man, he's been putting in some work here tonight. Been racing the regular series, trying to go out there and embark in real life Supercross, and then coming out here and having a great finish. I feel like we haven't seen a strong showing from Logan Leitzel really since his 250 days, where he earned that number there. But Braden Carter, man, he's just so built different. It's just ridiculous.
Leitzel
save it! Yeah,
Went in the top blocks.
We'll take it.
Barrel roll city. As he holds on into 6th. So now Carter, in this battle for 3rd on the podium, he is taking it back over from Lang, but he'd like to just pass Tyler Lang and put it all behind him if he can. That'd also help his case to close up on Eagland. If he gets around Lang, he would tie Eagland on points. Of course, he'd still need some help for Eagland to get passed by perhaps Leclerc. Eagland looking solid out front right now as we've crested that 12-minute mark. So white flag will be out next time by. 4.6, a 101 flat versus a 1 flat for the two of them. So Eagland, if he maintains his pace, will win this thing no problem, but he's got to get through a couple more lapped riders probably before this is over, and that's always critical as well in these closing stages of this main event, to not get caught up by that lap traffic.
Yeah, Colby Eagland nice and comfortable here too, because he's got a Braden Carter would have to get 2 more positions to beat him, because even if he gets 1 more spot and ties him in points, Eagland with this win is going to win the tiebreaker. So really nothing's going to happen unless Braden Carter can somehow drop 7 seconds and get up into the 3rd place position here. So Eagland with just a great ride here so far. Look at this though, fighting right on the rear wheel of T Lang. T Lang's got some company there, stands it up in the corner, but we got the white flag. So this is really all. I don't know if this is even going to change much if Braden Carter gets there. Not going to change anything in points as far as Braden Carter's overall, but maybe a little bit of a confidence booster and kind of feeling like he brought it back as best as he could.
Yeah, Lang is certainly feeling that pressure of the champ right behind him. The number 1 machine of Braden Carter closing this gap down late. Lang jumping off the track, has to rejoin safely here, and Carter's just going to shoot by to the outside. make that pass up into 4th place. He goes. He's not going to catch the front 3, but if anything happens out front with Eaglin here on this final lap, you just never know. Going into the whoops behind Brandon Larson. Larson going to get through on the right side clean. Eaglin gets through on the left side clean. Larson allows him by. Is that Leclerc down in the background? No, Leclerc stays up.
Ooh.
Eaglin wins the final race, but Leclerc takes the spoils as he wins the overall here tonight in Glendale for his 2nd win of the season. Leclerc back on top in Phoenix as he takes the dub in the Triple Crown. Hubbard finishes up in 3rd. Carter will pick up 4th, which ends up 3rd overall. Lang rounds out the top 5. Leitzel will be 6th. Buttigny 7th ahead of Janice. Sullivan in 9th, and Castellaneta looks like he will round out the top 10, which will also secure a top 5 finish for him tonight, going 3, 4, 10. Really tough race for him in this final one, but a good ride overall as the battles finally wrap up. Buttigny just holds off Janice. Whew, what a crazy final race that was. And in the end, it's Eaglin getting the win, but Leclerc taking the overall.
Yeah, Eaglin just with a great ride there. Kind of brought back to how he always has been riding as we've been in these Triple Crowns so far this year. Showing some great speed and confidence, but Leclerc just consistency all night. 2-1-2 to get that overall. Just kind of showing he's not done yet. This 450 class does have more races to go than those 250 classes, but man, I can't believe that Carter was also able to bring that back, get on the box for the overall, and just kind of salvage a bad night. When you go in, start off winning the first race 1-5-4, not the best when you got guys like Leclerc going 2-1-2, but man, it was a lot worse. He fought his way back from so far, multiple races tonight. So great ride by all these guys up front, and seeing a couple different people shine too. Hubbard with great starts, kind of putting himself in the mix. T. Lang and Logan Leitzel definitely surprising me as well. So really cool to see some different names up front here tonight.
Definitely a good little mixture at the front of this one to conclude our racing action here tonight from Glendale. We're going to stay in the server just for a little bit longer, wait for that restart so we can see official results come through to finalize everything here tonight. But unofficially, it does appear that Leclerc has won the Glendale Supercross by 5 points over Colby Eaglin and Braden Carter, who will tie for 2nd. But Eaglin, with the win in the final race, will get that tiebreaker. So, unofficially speaking, 5 points gained in the championship for Leclerc here tonight brings it from 24 back down to just 19 back, with 5 rounds of this championship still to go. And Leclerc trying to inch forward on Carter in the stretch run of this championship and maybe, just maybe, steal this thing back into his favor. All right, looks like we have finally got a restart, which means we should have those official results finally tally in just a second. But that is that's going to wrap up our racing here tonight. Looks like, yeah, we are solid in there with Leclerc, Eaglin, Carter, Lang, Castellaneta in the top 5. Janice Sullivan, Hubbard, Buttigny, Leitzel rounds out the top 10. Alrighty. Whew. What a night that was. Fun was had, indeed, as well as back in studio we go. Kellen Brower, Andrew Wood hanging with you guys here to wrap up the racing here tonight from Glendale. Leclerc gets the win. Holyhead gets the win, so the 2 guys second in the championship inch a little bit closer in those championship fights, make things maybe a little bit more interesting down the stretch. Hopefully we take this thing all the way to Salt Lake City in a few weeks.
Yeah, it would be fun. I love to see it tighten up as we move on through the rounds. It's never fun to really see a runaway 250 class tighten up a lot more than the 450 class did, but any little win by Leclerc, he's going to take and just kind of tighten up those points. So it makes the run down towards the end of the season a little bit more interesting for us as well as for the racers and all you viewers at home. So really glad that we could have some great action tonight. And this track provides some really good racing, so I was really excited for that.
Yeah, definitely good racing all around, and many congratulations, of course, to Jet Holyhead and Alexis Leclerc on their wins. Want to give a final shout out to a couple people, of course, MotoOption Clothing, Filski and Snowboard, Underground RC, and Race Tech Suspension for backing this series. A couple people behind the scenes, a huge shout out to Holtzy as well for always doing our opening ceremonies and recap videos. Thanks so much to him. And specifically tonight to Zach Dupuis, Dawson Tremling, Mark Zeidler, Todd Gutierrez. Who else is in there? Nathan Zaworski, Aaron Anderson, everybody that helped out with the scoring system here tonight to help us out with the Triple Crown format. Thanks, guys, so much for that. Always appreciate the help there. And finally, to you fans at home for tuning in every week and joining us here on MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross. This has been round 12 from Glendale. Triple Crown done and dusted. But oh boy, we got a fun one coming up next week as we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway coming up Huge racetrack, always a lot of fun to see what those guys can do on that massive speedway layout. And we'll see that next week here live, same time, same place on Start Your Systems, Init Esports on Twitch and ESTV. For Kellen Brower, Andrew Wood, and all of us here at Start Your Systems, thanks for tuning into the Glendale Supercross and MX Simulator, and we'll see you next week in Atlanta. So long for now.